Mate, that would from how many times a Warrior runs. It'll take me 10 years before I think 19 is a convincing leader. Oh!
I thought we had Sellers and Wing locked up. You're always 30-something, aren't you? Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Warrior Park for this huge Lakoseljac Cup round of 16 showdown. It's the replay of last season's final. They're meeting early this year. It's the Olympia FC Warriors and the Glenorchy Knights. This promises to be an absolute blockbuster here to cap off a big day of cup football. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me to call this one this evening, my usual sparring partners, Jake Morgan and Paul Hunt. A good evening, gentlemen.
And it is a pleasure to be here as always, Andrew, and really looking forward to this game. A match-up between Knights and Warriors can only end in one way, Andrew, and that is pretty much the Battle of Helm's Deep we've got over here at Warrior Park today. We're excited for it, and we're looking forward to this cup final rematch from last year.
We certainly are here today at Warrior Park as the lights finally come on. I was afraid we were going to be playing in darkness there.
Not on the sunny eastern shore, Paul. No. You're never playing in darkness on the sunny eastern shore. Sun's always shining.
As well as 2 degrees warmer, you now get 10 minutes extra sunlight,
That's
apparently,
exactly
which
right.
is another new feature of this side of the river as we have a look at Olympia's players warming up out there. I'm expecting a good heated contest, and I don't think either team was terribly impressed at drawing each other when the balls came out of the pot at FFT headquarters. I think they would have preferred a bit later on in the cup for that, I think.
Yeah, I think those who were at the draw kind of knew it was happening though after everyone else had got drawn out. Sitting there at the end, it was just like, oh, hang on, I know what's coming next. And indeed, we've been dealt a rematch, and well, I'm delighted with that result. We've got an absolute crack at cap off what's been a pretty one-sided set of results this afternoon, has to be said, across the Lakoseljac Cup. So hopefully we can have a close affair today. What are you expecting from this one, lads?
Oh, it's very hard to say, isn't it? Because probably the big mover in Tasmania in the off-season has just about been the Glenorchy Knights. So it'll be the first time for me getting a look at a fair few players for them. But the form of Brown in particular, and I think with Castaneda and Ortman sitting in central midfield for the Knights, that yeah, there might be a few worries for them given the tender age of those boys with extreme talent, it must be said. But I just think that with a little bit more mature bodies in the midfield, the Knights could be on for a bit of an upset here from the championship over the NPL Tas Olympia Warriors.
That's if you call it an upset. They've been absolutely flying so far, and as our esteemed colleague Andrew Cooling's been saying all season, they are an NPL team in a championship body, and then they've more than strengthened that up in a very convincing win over University a couple of weeks ago in the Summer Cup final. I'm almost tempted to put Knights in as near favourites. There's not too much difference between the two sides, and I do think that youth and experience will be an interesting factor. Obviously, Alex Holmes coming back in for Olympia compared to last year is a big in, but Knights have lost most of their experience, especially with the fly-in, fly-out Danny Allsop from last time, gentlemen.
Indeed, as we have a look at that Olympia Warriors team, and at the top, the American goalkeeper Brett Johnson. We saw him last week, was a little uncertain with his feet in the early going, but made a couple of sharp saves as the game progressed.
Certainly looked strong with his shot stopping, Bretty Johnson, but probably wasn't helped out at times by his defence, who tended to put him under a bit of pressure. And with a ground the length of Warrior Park, then you're always going to be asking for trouble because the pressure can arrive on you very quickly.
And I'm interested to see what the formation is going to be in terms of the defenders. You've got number 2, Tommy Little, number 3, Alex Holmes. No doubt he'll be in the heart of defence. Great to see the big cuddler back out there. Number 16, Jake Vandermeer, and number 8, Paul Stevens. Also defensive options, but then you got number 6, Joel Samet. Played on a wing last week, can also play at fullback, so wait and see how this Warriors line-up shakes out.
It might be a 3 at the back, I'd be guessing, just having a look at that line-up there. Wouldn't be surprised to see Vandermeer slotting aside Stevens and Holmes for the Warriors there, so 3 pretty big imposing bodies at the back with the youth in midfield in Castaneda and Ortman.
Yeah, and Tommy Little is certainly not that either. He's got some serious stature to him, so we'll see where he slots in. Number 7, Warren Waddell, you can pencil him into the right wing, the postman. He started this season in fantastic form. He'll certainly be key to the Warriors' chances today. Hugh Undy plays a variety of roles in this team. He's been dropping in the hole behind the striker for the most part this year. I'd expect maybe that, or he might line up on the left. And Joffrey Nkoso, who scored his first MPL Tasmania goal last week, coming off the bench and making an impact, the King of Joffers.
He's added a new title to his many, hasn't he, really? He's certainly the King of Warrior Park now too. That was a fine finish there from Joffrey Nkoso that really made the difference the last time that we were over here at Warrior Park, and really looking forward to see how his pace can work, given that Zach Eadie was played out of position last week.
Yeah, and he's found himself on the bench. He was hauled off after 45 minutes last week, so he's on the bench today. Jonathan Griffiths also started at fullback. He's on the pine as well. The salad, Tommy Bellini in there.
He's a very, very good young player.
And Oliver Davis and Darby Randall rounding out a pretty youthful end of that Warriors bench. So that's the host side. We'll have a look at the visitors, the Glenorchy Knights. And they're marching out onto the field now, and it's a strong-looking lineup that they've put together. Number 1 in goals, the veteran Dimmy Nesta. Some notes on him in the matchday program, fellas.
Well, I jumped on the Glenorchy Knights page today and just having a look through the list and how it had developed in the off-season, and I was just interested to note the mystery that is Dimitri Nesta's age, because he's the only person that I've ever seen who is aged 30-something on the official website. So it'll be interesting to see how the old body can hold out there today, but he's certainly been good whenever I've seen him play.
The eternal Dimmy Nesta is a strong lineup in support of him. At the back, you'd imagine number 4, Tyler Harrison, would partner number 14, Teddy Kadisha. In the heart of defence, you've got Jack Kupsch. I'd expect to see either right back or left back with Samuel James. The other option in at full back. Some brilliant attacking talent in this team with the Brown boys, Callum and Declan. Callum has been scintillating lately. And then Sia Kurdistan scored an absolute rocket in the Summer Cup final. He looks a classy player. Nicholas Naden coming over from Clarence. There's just firepower everywhere. The Magic Man, Alex Bellini, and you'd imagine John O'Lash just sits in front of the back four and protects.
Yeah, you'd certainly think so, because he's a player that I've heard a lot of hype about, Ladich. He's certainly regarded as one of the better players in the state from the people who know their Tasmanian football a little bit better than I, but I'm really interested to see how those Brown brothers can work out on the flanks and through the middle for the Glenorchy Knights, because I've always been impressed by their dribbling prowess as well as their stature when I've watched this Glenorchy team play.
Especially that goal last week from Brown. We've had a lot of confusion up here in the box about who scored that last week, but replays clearly showed. Actually, I've already forgotten. Is it Callum?
Well, replays clearly vindicated Cooling, and it was Callum. It was essentially...
Didn't want to stuff that up for 3 weeks in a row.
Despite the best work done by producer and co-commentator trying to sabotage, it was definitely Callum who scored one of the goals of the season, and what a pre-season he had as well. He has been perhaps the form player in the state at the moment, Callum Brown, so he's going to be key to their hopes today. On the bench, the big General Sherman. They won't roll him out just yet.
Well, frankly, if I ever see a dead ball situation tonight, I will be screaming for the Sherman tank to be rolled out. And I know it's not typically the style to roll the tanks through with the Blitzkrieg style that we're going to see employed by the Glenorchy Knights, but there's going to come a point tonight where I reckon they're going to roll out the Sherman tank, and there could be every chance he'll blow them away.
Yes, saw him. He was down keeping an eye on Taroona University today. Said, I'll be on the bench today, and hopefully won't have to come on because he won't be needed. So I personally hope he will be needed because I love me a bit of the Sherman tank. Also on the bench, number 12, George Hallard, another one coming across from Clarence. Good to see number 20, Hugh Foley out there. He's a good midfield option they've got to bring into this game if they need it.
In terms of battle of the salad, I think there'll be a fair old go between Bellini and Foley out there today too.
And then you've also got Aaron Amani, who's impressed in wide areas in the pre-season, the back at keeper, James Wilson. So those are your starting lineups for this Cup final rematch here in the round of 16. And it is going to be an incredible clash. Been looking forward to this one since the draw was made. Boys, a quick prediction perhaps before...
Look, I think there's going to be goals out there today because both of these teams are very good in an attacking sense, and certainly a lot of creativity in the Olympia lineup. And just with the smaller ground, I think we might even see a result like a 4-2 here today to the Glenorchy Knights, I dare say.
Yeah, it's a bold prediction from you there, Jake Bond, but I'm not going to be too far off. I think I'm going to say Glenorchy Knights, possibly in extra time, I think. I think it's going to be a close one, and I think it'll certainly be one that'll get the heart rate up, much like other sporting contests.
And that is the magic of the Cup too. We do have a chance here for a bit of extra time to be rolled out and add to the drama.
Indeed we do. We'll go through the results from earlier in the day from the Lakoseljac Cup. There's been action all around the state, starting off at 1 o'clock. Taroona, they were absolutely incredible. Do yourself a favour, jump on the Matchday blog and have a look at those highlights. Some absolute stunners there in a 7-0 win over University. I was very surprised by that result. I thought it was going to be a close one. Not to be. Launceston City, well, they thumped a 10-man Kingborough Lions 6-0. That was pretty dominant. Devonport also 7-0 winners over Newtown. Jakob Schlenner scores 4 for Zebras in an 11-1 victory over Riverside. Northern Rangers thumped Ulverston 6-0, wow. And Hobart United in the closest of today's game with a 3-0 win over Somerset. So fair to say it's been a pretty one-sided set of results so far today, lads.
Yeah, so far out of the 6 games, about 41 goals, I believe the stats man was telling me earlier today. 41 goals in 6 games. I was at the Newtown versus Devonport game. I think Newtown would have loved a bit of rain. Clare Street with a big cricket pitch in the middle can certainly give the home team some advantage when it's damp, but on a nice dry pitch like it was today, the Devonport strikers, particularly down the wings, Holden Mann, Joel Stone, were pretty much had it all their own way. A nice scissor kick goal from Braden Mann, as well as a cheeky quick free kick taken. It was all pretty much one-way traffic down there, and that's about all that game was. Wasn't quite as enthralling as all the others, it seemed.
A game of the day, definitely in the statewide women's, though. Northern Rangers and Clarence. How about this for a game? It ended 5-all after 90 minutes, 6-all after 120 minutes, and then Rangers won 2-1 in a penalty shootout. And quite a comeback there from Clarence in that game. They were well down early on, fought back, got through. South Hobart defeated a University 2-1 in other statewide cup action.
And then in the complete other end of the spectrum, we had the statewide Women's Cup game with a rather resounding 24-0 victory to Ulverston over Beachside. It's one of the more one-sided games I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, a bit of a blowout that one, but as we said, it's been a bit of the theme of the day. And here is hoping that we get a closer one tonight. I think we will. I think this is going to be an absolute belter of a game. There's a reason we've picked this one for the live stream. It's got plenty of promise. It's going to be a fiery affair. They met in the final last year. It was the Warriors too good on that occasion, but there's been quite a change to both these squads since then.
I do think a 6:15 kickoff would have been a little more appropriate, just so, with a bit of the sunset, it might affect the players a bit more and just give a bit more time for them to get used to the natural lighting here at Warrior Park. It could be a little more different.
Yeah, well, Mum was cooking a roast tonight too, and I could have got home for that, mate. So you've let me down a little bit there, Andrew Cooling, but I'm going to forgive you for this one. So just looking forward to the spectacle of a football match here today. And as the teams come together and begin the pre-match handshakes, certainly looking like a little bit of height difference there that's perhaps going to favour the Olympia Warriors. And I wouldn't mind having a look at that man, Alex Holmes, today at some dead balls because it's going to be threatening.
Yeah, that certainly happened up in that Devonport game I was talking about before there. Very tall centre-back, Spaniard centre-back Lescano, was banging away headers at pretty much every corner opportunity up there, and if, especially on this small pitch that Warrior Park is, any corner opportunity with the postman, let's hope he's not having Easter Monday off like every other postman today with Darwin, and can continue to fire them in for the Warriors as we get ready for the coin toss. Jake Vandermeer striding forward for Olympia.
Yeah, and it's just going to be seconds away until we start to have a look at the kind of shape that both of these teams are taking. It is a little bit surprising for me to see these three centre-backs lining out there. Well, almost four, I suppose. You can count Tommy Little as an extra one. So expect to see a little bit of solidity at the back, and probably the right call to go with there from Dale Itchens, because they do have those slightly smaller bodies in the midfield in Ortman and certainly in Castaneda too. And with their tender youth and perhaps the big bodies that we're going to see from players like Sherman, who can be introduced for the Glenorchy Knights, then it's going to be quite the key battle, I think, the midfield. But yeah, smart of Dale Itchens to be coming in and putting some really solid bodies in behind those players to just protect them a little bit, because they are some very talented young players in Ortman and Castaneda, and I really can't wait to see what Castaneda can do this season.
Yeah, hopefully he can spray the ball around in that sort of number 8 role in between there, especially if he has someone like Hundi in front of him and a nice defensive midfielder behind him like Lucas the Mountain Hill, who's unfortunately out today. That is certainly the recipe as we are kicking off here. Jake Vandermeer, who appears to be at left midfield at the moment, which is an interesting move there.
Yeah, perhaps could be lining up as the left back today, and it just seems like Samet, who's been playing left back for the past few weeks, is going to play a little bit further up the field. So really interested to see what that young fella can do, making the team of the week last week in particular, but getting a beautiful assist for the Olympia Warriors to equalise with Joffrey and Koso. So those two young fellas up top are going to be quite the threat for the Warriors. So we just see now Castaneda getting onto the ball, and he looks out right, finds Tommy Little, who is lining up at right back, and just looks like they're going to actually go with the back four today, the Olympia Warriors. So probably two natural centre-backs lining up in the full-back position. So despite the fact that they haven't gone with three at the back, it really is going to help out that young midfield, as we've just flagged in the pre-game here. Yeah, Hundi plays a beautiful outside ball to Wadawu, who gets in an early cross, but comfortably dealt with by the Knights' defence before they look to recycle it out wide through Brown.
Well, one worry with the Warriors going with the 4 centre-backs in a back four is perhaps the pace, and the Browns have got plenty of that. It might be a way that the Knights can get in behind, but it's the Warriors who've made a promising start here as the postman Warren Wadawu drifts inside across to King Joffrey, first of his name, treads on the ball, steered away from him there by Brown, now picked up by Jake Vandermeer, the Warriors captain, well read by Tyler Harrison. And here's Waddy Castaneda, wasn't aware. Kurdistan lurking in behind, chipped over the top from Little, out on his bike here. Here's Wadawu tracking it down, fakes the cross, then seemed to have the beating of Samuel James, but he did it nicely. The Knights defender clears the area straight to Vandermeer, and it'll be a throw in the way of the Knights.
Yeah, really good body work there from James on Wadawu out wide, because we know what a threat Wadawu can be. He's very close to one of my favourite players in the NPL Taz, but just seeing the Knights get onto the ball now, and they've got Brown, who's opened up a little bit, but good defending from Bellini, but Brown's in. He's got one in the centre, goes himself, and just perhaps he could have had a bit more time to take a look in the middle there.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a better option there, but when you are in the form of Callum Brown, it's very much you would shoot on side in that situation, and he had a fair few options down that left wing last week as Olympia looked to burst forward through Undy, and then it's well cut out. John Aladic sitting in the middle as expected. We saw the Shermanator have that role most of last year, but the former Vic shooting medalist now holding that role for the season, it appears, is going up for the headed contest.
And Undy probably just tunnelled a little bit there. He has a little bit of a complaint about it, but quickly gets back on with it and just recycles it out wide through Tommy Little. He's probably going to look back inside to Wadawu, who's just having a little party out there with those dribbling kicks, and takes a foul, but Bellini, or rather Tommy Little, has picked up the ball, and he looks inside to Waltman, gets it back to Stevens. He's got his head up, not a lot of movement up there in the centre of the pitch for the Warriors, so well cut out here. Naden just over the top, and the fullback for the Knights has just about nearly hit us with that errant clearance.
Yeah, certainly a wild rash clearance up there towards the commentary box. Johnson will Knocked that one back down, but it's already in play. Castaneda looking to go wide with the offside flag. He's up immediately on the far side there. No, Glenorchy Knights with another chance to build up here. I do find the goalkeeping players for the Knights interesting. James Wilson coming across from South Hobart, but Dimitri Nesta keeping his position for a good portion of the season so far. They're still sort of rotating, I think, so it's going to be an interesting battle between those two.
Yeah, I think Dimmy Nesta, the experienced number one. Weren't entirely sure about his availability heading into this year, but Wilson, a very handy insurance plan, which is unfortunately for him what he's been the past couple of seasons since quite a successful year up at Northern Rangers, but certainly always good to have two capable goalies in your squad. As Declan Brown into the middle for Lakoseljac, he spreads it wide for Naden, back into the middle. And Bellini's punched one up over the top. The overlapping run from the fullback won't quite get there, as they probe in behind, and they're going to quickly find out there's not a lot of room in those wide areas at Warrior Park.
But they certainly did look to use the space quite well, and just perhaps that, as you flagged, the lack of space there was really all that caught them, as we see beautiful touch there from Mark Altman to get possession back before Samet gives it up, perhaps unnecessarily. We see James on the ball, he just chips it into midfield. Knights being calm in possession here, and there was a pretty horrible shirt tug there. And the free rightfully paid there by our referee.
As we have Tyler Harrison over the ball, looking wide in the Brown direction, but the postman cuts that one out immediately. Teddy Kadisha leaves that one for his fullback into Lakoseljac, who pretty high ball, putting Kadisha under significant pressure. Undies then Nesta comes out and does exceptionally well. Nip that one in the bud. A potentially dangerous situation there caused by the Lakoseljac back pass. And they were nearly in there, the Olympia Warriors.
Yeah, they certainly were, and it was a very, very sharp save, because it was that Q Undy, I think, who'd just gotten into a very dangerous position and every chance to finish from those spots. But it's Knights now, getting forward. That's Brown on the ball, he gets his head up. Lovely little pass inside, tries to play through two defenders there, and then powerfully Alex Holmes emerges with the ball. He goes to Adawu. Gets his head up, and a good run there made by Undy, but well cut out with a little flick there from James. Before the ball falls to Castaneda. This goes back to Tommy Little, who just really tees off there with the pitching wedge and doesn't get it anywhere near where he intended.
Yeah, sliced that 8-iron right down the sideline did Tommy Little, and I do find it interesting, Olympia Warriors. They're gone back to the sort of three centre-backs idea that they had a fair bit last year with Van der Meij hogging one of left back or right backs. Probably certainly a more natural centre-back. I think we call it the Belgian way, after that's pretty much what they've had to contend with during their dominance the last 5 years. And I think that's quite good on a narrow pitch like this, as Kurdistan in a race with Holmes, but the sideline will beat them. And we have the first sight of the Warrior himself on the far side there, so good to see Olympia mascot out there tonight.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was having a chat to him on the way in, and did give him a little bit of an encouragement to pull out the kid tonight. Well, I certainly love to see that kind of personality in Tasmanian football.
Yeah, will we see the Knight in operation either, and we can have the duel we had at the Lakoseljac Cup final.
I'd certainly be favouring half-time jousting if we had to get them involved in some way. Perhaps pull a few ponies out from over the other side of Mornington and we'll be right to go.
I reckon just put them in the bullseye in the middle of the pitch and you step out, you lose.
Yeah, fair.
1v1 is...
to the death.
Like sumo wrestling style there.
Let's settle, but maybe. Maybe. We'll see how willing Kellen is over there to engage in that sort of things. And Koso charges into the box here. He's got serious wheels. Teddy Kadisha did really well to win it. There was a half shelf of handball too on Kadisha as he into the ground. He draws the foul, but huge defensive play here. And Koso looked like he was going to get in behind Kadisha. Just wins it back.
Yeah, just getting enough of the ball there, Kadisha, but certainly making the most of that little foul there that was called on him by, I think, Samet. But yeah, very, very good defending from Teddy Kadisha out there to try and just stop what was a very, very dangerous attack.
So spread out wide down here through Jack Cooch. Inside to Declan Brown. Haven't had to call his name too much so far. It's a lovely through ball. Down the wing, crossed high into the back post with Dawa, who look to chase it down. And he manages to keep it in well, cuts it back inside, dummy again. Castaneda! Oh, it's right down the throat of Dimitri Nesta. Nearly snuck through the legs, but not quite there from the youngster.
Wasn't that a fantastic little dummy there from Huandi to allow that to fall to Castaneda? And certainly had a lot of time to hit that one. So although he got a lot of power behind the ball, perhaps just a little bit disappointing that he couldn't get it into an area that would work the keeper a little bit more. But very positive signs there for Olympia. Surprising they find that much space on the edge of the box.
And the Warriors have started this game the sharper of the two teams. Here's Castaneda. They're looking like the favourites. They are the MPL team after all. And they've got a point to prove tonight as Stevens swings this one wide. Sets a task for the postman Wadawu. Tracks it down. And his cross was a bit tame, but wins the corner.
Yeah, it certainly was a little bit of a tame cross there, but James just perhaps flinching a little bit at the ball as it came in, which allowed Wadawu to deliver the corner. And I can't wait to see what he's going to come up with here. It could just be these little near post options that we certainly saw a lot of last week for the Warriors, and it certainly looks that way. Goes to Vandermeer at the near post, but well defended there from Knights. Ball falls straight away out to Castaneda, who thinks he's just going to take on Nick Naden there before he gives away a little bit of a tug, and another dangerous spot potentially for the postman to get over the ball here. And frankly, I think Australia Post should be worried about their share price here tonight, because Wadawu looks like he's posting parcels quicker than anything I've ever seen.
He's got good form coming into this game, Warren Wadawu. It's been impressive in the opening couple of weeks. Scored a hat-trick against Northern Rangers in the opening round. It's Wadi Castaneda standing over this dead ball and show of faith in the youngster there. Of course, only moved across from South Hobart a couple of weeks ago, but now he's looming as a very important part of the midfield. He punches this one dangerously into the box. Tyler Harrison gets a foot on it and puts it behind for a corner.
Looked like it could have been one from the training ground there, because I certainly wasn't expecting him to go with the style of chip ball that he did there, and there were certainly players trying to attack that and get on the volley, notably Vandermeer there, but really well defended there from Knights to just knock it out for a corner. Certainly wasn't something I was expecting.
No, certainly a rifled sort of low ball into Vandermeer, and there is Wadawu over this one. He's the share price skyrocketing downwards so far. Let's see what he can deliver from this corner. New post runs being made, goes far, just gets a head up, goes to the edge of the box again. Castaneda with the ball, just manages to keep it. Surrounded by 4 Knights players, he does well to recycle it out through Samet. Little heavy touch there, can't quite get past Vandermeer. Now Knights will look to break Kurdistan. He's got a fair bit of space here on this near side. He's got a 1v1 with Samet.
Certainly exposed here, Kurdistan just taking on. That's going top corner, wow. Certainly had to be alert there in Johnson in the goals for a little bit of an argument perhaps developing here, and a little bit of a chat going to the linesman, but has that been called a corner?
Yeah, I reckon his second touch was over the line.
I reckon that was definitely a corner from up here. I thought that was just an obvious corner. He sort of caught it and then nonchalantly stepped out on that second step. And he's gone about there, and then not the best camera angle on that, but I was pretty convinced that was a corner.
Certainly the correct decision there from the linesman, and I'll just have to eat my words there for a second, but yeah, a little lazy there from Johnson perhaps as Knights look to get it inside. Brown, he's got bodies in the box, goes himself and nearly nutmegs Johnson. Jeez, that's some dangerous stuff from the American keeper there, but beautiful distribution. He gets Samet, who looks to play in Koso, but smartly cut out at the back there by the Knights.
Oh, done very well to get out of the situation there. Did Johnson. Brown hit that with an extraordinary amount of power and just got the knee down in time. It's a foul brought back.
A couple of really good moments just from the last set piece for Olympia too, but Castaneda's dribbling just to hang on to the ball is really something quite to behold, and certainly made me realise why this man has been a junior captain of the country.
Yeah, fast feed at the top of the box, wasn't it, from Castaneda, and realised nothing was on, so passed it backwards. Just sound decision making from the youngster. That one is a poor pass, easily cut out by Vandermeer. Samet, an interesting looking pass back to Vandermeer, then volleys it back to Paul Stevens, who was an absolute mountain at the back for them last week. Lovely work here from Huandi, taking it wide. A couple of Knights for company though. Sam James wearing him like a cheap suit and puts it out of play.
Foul.
Foul has been blown. So perhaps a chance for another testing delivery.
Yeah, the linesman just flagging that one there, you can see in the background, but it did look to be a push there from James, and perhaps a bit unnecessary to give away a free kick in a dangerous position like this when you've got dead ball ability, the quality that Olympia possess, despite the fact that Mearns is absent.
no Mearns or Hill again today, but I think it's just the reality they're going to have to get used to. Lucas Hill will be back eventually, but Mearnsy we may not see this season, which is unfortunate. So he was the player of the match in the final between these two teams last year in the Cup final. Warren Wadawu sends in the free kick. Chips it up towards the middle of the box. Nesta punches away. It'll fall to the feet of Samuel James, who looks up, doesn't have a lot on. Looks it for Kurdistan. First time ball back for Brown. This is some lovely combination play from the Knights. They try to spring Brown in behind, but it's slightly overhit and an easy gather for the American.
Yeah, and he was onside.
He certainly was. He just managed to maintain that run. There were three storming forward, but just a bit overhit. And I'm just noticing compared to that Lakoseljac Cup final from last year, Knights played a pretty rigid 4-4-2 and stuck to it and got really overpowered in the midfield. And this time with Lakoseljac in, it's certainly making a difference as we look to see Nkoso on the ball engaged in a bit of a wrestling match there with Lakoseljac, and the referee has determined that that wasn't 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. There was actually a bit more from one side there.
That was the exact phrase that I was going to use there, Paul, because it certainly did look to me like they were just having a bit of a tug on each other there. So just lucky perhaps for the Warriors to get a free kick in a spot like this from something like that, but it can be the kind of decision that is crucial in the outcome of game. Looks like Hugh Undy over the top of this one.
Yeah, he's the only one within the reason, unless they've got something planned for Castaneda there on the side, as we see the vanishing spray being used again. Good to see that in the Lakoseljac Cup this year. So Hugh Undy, 5 to aim for in the box, hits that low and hard and kind of in between every option there, not quite at goal and not quite to his teammates.
You could see what he was trying to do there, just going that near post location that is not covered by the wall there and trying to put the keeper under a bit of pressure, but Nesta I think would have been more than equal to that one, and just going a bit wide as we see a bit of congestion here before Undy tries to break through. Lovely ball there from Nick Naden before. Jeez, that was just an imposing sight, wasn't it? Jakey Vandermeer bearing down on you like that, like being charged by a raging bull.
Yeah, he's not one you're going to want to be standing in the path of, big Jakey Vandermeer. And he's lining up at left back today for the Warriors. Again, not his preferred position, but so many centre-backs in their squad, the Warriors. Not a heap of full-backs. Undy took that down. Couldn't control it though, and now Naden along the line. Castaneda will just let it roll out of play. We've gone just past 15 minutes here. Both teams with one good chance each, but no one able to break this one open just yet. There's Salmon, so impressive in that big game against the Strikers, and the big games just keep on coming here. Vandermeer charging through the midfield here. The big centre-back slides it through for Warren Wadawu. He gets it at the second effort. I thought Nesta had denied him. He got a second bite at and he puts it away. The Warriors take the lead.
And who do you give the credit for that goal to? Big Jakey Vandermeer. He turns from the raging bull into the slaloming provider there. So fantastic work. Perhaps just not quite the roles that we're accustomed to for Wadawu and Vandermeer, but a lovely goal nonetheless, and that should make Warriors fans very happy.
Oh, that is a run all defenders dream of there from Jakey Vandermeer. Jinx between 2 to 3 and then absolutely scythes down both centre-backs. Good save in the end from Johnson, but falls to the postman, who at second attempt delivers calmly and puts the NPL side Olympia Warriors in front. And been a pretty even contest, as Cooling said, but I think in the end that little touch of class there and a little bit of luck off the keeper as well has left Olympia Warriors in front.
I think that was Tyler Harrison straight away there from the rebound, just with a little step over and ball roll over straight away as a Olympia player's bearing down on him. We see Brown now trying to get into the box, but well dealt with by Holmes to concede the corner there. So chance here for Knights to respond after what was just an extraordinary piece of play from Jakey Vandermeer and a composed piece of work from Warren Wadawu to finish it at the second attempt.
Yeah, it'll be great to see that one replayed from the start as we have a corner kick to the Knights. A fair few in the box here to aim for. Kadisha might be one of them. Instead, it's out the back to Bellini, who goes the low chip. And oh, that's an absolute howler, absolute own goal there
Oh, jeez. The finish there from the defender is absolutely top class.
Paul Stevens.
Jeez, he's going to be a bit upset with that one, but you can get some really bad luck when you get balls coming in from angles you're not used to. Just trying to chop it out there, and he's just chipped the own keeper straight to the top corner. And look at the Knights fans in the background who've turned out in force.
Well, they don't care how it goes in, that's for sure, but I don't know how on earth he's shinned that one. It's gone up and come down with the perfect amount of spin to lob the keeper. It's not good from Paul Stevens, really. There was no real threat to the goal, and they're back on terms immediately. So a gift there for Knights.
Yeah, we don't quite have the pitch mic out there, but you just really would have liked to have heard a call perhaps from the keeper too, just to let Stevens know that he didn't have to stick his leg out there. So really disappointing kind of goal to concede there for Olympia, because they have been in the ascendancy.
And it was rising the ball as well, so always likely to take the top edge of the shin pad, and that's exactly what that's done. And to loop over the keeper from there, it left me in a bit of a state of shock. I thought that was going to fly well over harmlessly for a corner and just dipped at the last minute.
It's magnificently unfortunate, isn't it?
It's a very apt description, as the referee calls the play back when they were potentially looking for some attacking play there, the Knights. Kutch not looking to take it. Very unlucky from Paul Stevens, who jokingly transferred today to Hobart Zebras via Instagram there for a small while, until he turned up on the team sheet for Olympia as normal, as Brown whips that one near post right down the throat of Johnson, and may have slightly forgot what team he was playing for there, Paul Stevens, to finish that tangent.
And that was a beautiful cross in there from Brown to really put the Olympia defence under pressure, because it's the kind of ball that's curling into that far corner, and if anybody gets a touch on it to direct it past to the near post, then it's just going to cause all kinds of trouble, that kind of doubt for a defence. So well done there from Brown, who's probably looked one of the most liveliest players on the pitches. Dawu skips past a couple, but just dribbled it over the line there, unfortunately for him. And it could be a corner or it could be a goal kick here. Just going to be a little bit of a discussion, I think, between the linesman and ref. Or a free kick, rather.
It could be absolutely anything by the looks of it. It certainly looks like a free kick from one of the more interesting angles you'll ever see a free kick from. They might probably just use a corner routine here, I think.
Yeah, well, they've certainly got big bodies in the box. You can see Holmes lurking centre of the goal, but wouldn't be surprised if we see Jakey van der May making that near post run that we often see. So we see the postman over the ball. Can he deliver?
Dawu assessing all the options and choosing to go near post. Good heading clearance there by the Knights. Samet will look to whip that one into the back post, where there wasn't really anyone waiting, and it's pretty much just kept in, not quite there from Dawu, so out for a goal kick.
You have to praise the Knights' defence there, particularly playing three at the back, to be pushing up so quickly and really make that ball from Joel Samet the wrong one to play, but certainly could have been the right one, just if the defence hadn't been so aware and alert. So well done to Knights' defence on that ball. That's the kind of good subtle play we like to see at Slice of Cheese.
Some trouble here. Castaneda looking to pounce on it, but they recover it. Bellini in the end gets himself out of trouble, works it to Declan Brown. He was looking for the twin brother, but it was a poor pass, easily cut out by Tommy Little. Castaneda spreads it to Joel Samet. He drifts inside the winger and then played the little reverse pass to Nkoso, easily broken up at the back by Kupch. Now Nick Naden driving the play forward. Kurdistan looking to play in Bellini, but smashed away from him. Gathered by Nestor at the back.
Shot on target, you reckon?
Yeah, I don't think that one will quite go down. I don't know if it had the steam to make the goals.
Could have been like that goal that I just saw the other day, where the defenders finished it, falls into the mud, the defender turns away, and they concede the 90th minute equaliser.
Yeah, never turn your back on live play, as this one's worked. It's James' direction to touch might allow Dawu in. A couple of times he's just been hanging really wide and almost caught the Knights by surprise when he suddenly darted into the box. Here's Callum Brown combining with James into the middle with Ladic. That's a beautiful pass, and the Knights are away here. Callum Brown charging forwards. He threads it through the middle looking for Kurdistan. He had his back to the play. Didn't realise the ball had been released, I don't think.
I think that he had, and I think that was just a bit of a premeditated attempted run there from Kurdistan. I actually really liked it from him, because he stayed right on the shoulder of Stevens and stayed narrow into the centre of the ground before then just turning off his right and darting into the space that he'd created to himself. But unfortunately, the ball wasn't quite played through well enough for him.
Yeah, you'll praise Kurdistan. I'll praise van der May with a nice piece of defending, not staying too wide to the winger and tucking inside to help the ball in behind Stevens. So it was very good defending there from Vandermeyen, and I could see what Nkoso was trying to do. Samet was in about 30 yards of space. He's got it now and got Undy through the middle. Stays onside. Hugh Undy coolly slots that one past Dimmy Nesta for 2-1 Olympia Warriors. Pretty direct style there from Olympia, but it does the business.
Cool, calm and collected from Hugh Undy there, and he just picked up the ball in a pocket of space, dished off the 1-2, and well finished there at the end too. Just faked and angled as if he was going to go into that far corner and just finished it near post. Very well done.
Poor Dimmy Nesta facing the one-on-ones in this game. The Knights defence looking awfully brittle through 23 minutes. The second time they've just surged through the middle, drive a truck through that gap. Here's Hugh Undy. He just comes in, that is composed. He waits and waits for the keeper to move, and eventually says, I'm just going to put this in the corner. And there goes that horn, or Francis Callan, that we all associate with Warriors goals.
Or an air raid cooling. I'm not sure which one it is. Could be either, but yeah, beautiful stuff there from Hugh Undy. You've got to give the man some credit for finishing that one. But it was a beautiful ball played through, and I just missed who might have played that one. But it was, yeah, certainly a lovely assist there from Nkoso.
Did very well there. Get the king of the handles. Now Stevens. Can't quite get that one through, and Kurdistan flicks that one in the Brown direction. Holmes manages to clear that one, gets everyone to push up as well, and then that's a lovely looking raking ball by the business. Well cut out, but Nkoso picks it up. Bellini
like
out again now with
Stoke.
Dawu. Yeah, touche, as Kupsch gets muscled out of it by Castaneda. Mighty Castaneda now in the corner there. Kupsch, full company's trying to win the corner there. Is the youngster, and good luck deciphering that one, referee, and I think corner has been given.
That was actually the left winger out there in Joel Samet, but certainly same stature, and with the 6 and the 9, certainly easy to get those two confused. But some really good play for him out there, and got to give him the credit that he deserves. He really managed to hold on to the ball quite well and win the corner in the end from some pretty solid defending from Kupsch.
Yeah, stood him up well, as Madawu will see what airmail is happening now. He'll size up his options. Holmes again, likely target, goes back post, gets to the head of Vandermeyen, but eventually cleared. And trying to turn on it is the Knights defender, and eventually booted out towards the corner flag. Getting a bit scrappy down in the corner there. Still kept in, and now Declan Brown will see that one out for a throw-in. That just went into our blind spot here from the commentary position. Always tricky when it's down on that near side in front of the crowd. And speaking of crowd, a very decent crowd in here for Easter Monday evening. Pretty much all sides of people on it, as Nkoso has a pretty ambitious effort there. Got good power on it, but I think Nesta saw that one the whole way.
Got his tail up, Joffrey Nkoso. He's playing well, the youngster. Set up the last goal.
Only 18, isn't he? Or 17?
Yeah, and he's just playing with a real swagger this evening. Just got his eye for goal now after he's off the mark in the NPL last week, and perhaps has given him a little bit of extra confidence, but perhaps just starting to find his feet at the top level. And looks a very promising young prospect. He's certainly explosive. As Naden hits that one first time to Kurdistan, brings it down, then threads it through. That's a lovely return pass to Nick Naden, surging into the box. Oh, well done in Tommy Little there, staying tight to him, still going Naden, still going. And eventually it escapes him.
I'd love to have another look at that. He was copping a fair bit of shirt tugging there, Nick Naden, so always got to give someone credit if they don't go to ground, but there's some dangerous stuff as Teddy Kadisha overcommits, which allows Nkoso to get wide. He's got Wadawu in the centre, as well as Hugh Undy. Undy just making a little lead into a pocket of space. He looks in that direction, but yeah, just a pretty poor foul there on the young man, Nkoso, rightly given by the assistant referee out that side. Some good work from the linesman to pick that up.
Yeah, he was turning away from the play. We have to really do in that situation is jockeying them rather than give him a clip on the ankle. So another opportunity for Olympia as we have a look at the replay down here on the shirt pulling on Naden potentially.
Yeah, just perhaps a little earlier, but yeah, definitely right not to give a penalty there, and definitely right of Naden to stay on his feet, but you'll always be asking questions when you see the shirt get pulled out and away.
Just looking at the linesman's flag down there. There's a bit of a breeze coming across Warrior Park as the ball delivered in low to the near post, cleared by Kupsch. Out for a throw-in.
Yes, certainly in the correct spot there, Kupsch, to just cut that out before it reaches the near post position. And his defensive positioning has actually been probably the best that I've seen of the Knights defenders at stages tonight, because I'm a little bit worried about their back three at times.
There's the ball rifled into the near post. No one home for the Warriors, and Nesta coolly claims that one. Going to look to play that one out. Tyler Harrison spreading pretty wide down there. Got Nkoso for company. Plays it straight to Paul Stevens. Now through the cuddler, Alex Holmes. He'll play that one forward, and Kadisha just completely air swings that one. Fortunately, Nesta.
And how did he get the nickname the Cuddler?
Just being, I think it was the afro, he's a lovely man, just all of that in general, really. It's like a big cuddly teddy bear, I guess, Mr. Holmes.
I would have called him the Crusher, knowing how fast he could bowl at the cricket club back in the day. He was an imposing figure.
Tall right arm over as Nesta miscontrols that one and just gets out of jail there. Nice fast bowler was Holmes.
You could see the adrenaline get released into his system after that poor touch there, couldn't you? Just a little bit of a almost skate like a Looney Tunes character as it hit his system, and yeah, worrying stuff there for a second from Nesta, but he was apt to recover.
I think every keeper's had that moment where just you're not sure, is that going to go behind me into the back of the net and I'm going to look an absolute fool. There's a terrible feeling as Brown gets this one and turns towards goal. Kurdistan, his hold-up play's been good so far. The Knights centre forward, no Nowicki, but Kurdistan filling that role beautifully. Here's Samuel James now, wide, a couple of step overs as he looks to take on Tommy Little. He drives in, and the numbers come across and deflects out off James, and it will be a goal kick. So well done, Alex Holmes, in support of Tommy Little here.
Yeah, very good defensive play there from Tommy Little, and then Holmes comes over and gets it right off the chest.
It's a little bit unfortunate there, you have to say, though, James, because he did a good job and the deflection just didn't quite work out for him, as we see Undy get out into a wide position and pick up Samet. Gets into the middle and picks out Nkoso before a good tackle comes in from, I think, Brown, to recycle it out to the left-hand side with Samuel James here. Gets his head up and just bops it back to Nesta. Calm touch this time. He goes right to Harrison. Just not a lot of movement ahead here for the Glenorchy Knights at this stage, but
they're really trying to spread the play wide. I think they're really used to their wide ground of KGV. Both defenders are really hugging the touchline, but not really getting too much service as Harrison calmly heads that one back to Nesta. I just think they'd really like an extra 10 to 15 yards of space out wide. Would the Knights, as that's a long ball and fresh air swing from Little, but to no avail.
Yeah, half an hour gone, 2-1 in favour of the Warriors. Probably a fair score on the balance of play, you'd have to think. And still enough there for the Knights to believe they can get themselves back into this one. They've had their moments in attack, but on the balance of play, Olympia looked the sharper of the sides, and their defence has certainly looked more resolute than the Knights thus far.
yeah, I certainly think that's a fair assessment, because they've also worked Nesta a lot more than Johnson's been worked by the Knights, and Kupch again into a good position, but the clearance is a little bit poor. Picked up there from Samet, who gets his head up, turns around, and well taken there by, I think, Ladich. Ball's played into the middle, attempting to find Harrison, who'd gone well out of position, and Naden just slotting into centre back there for a second to help him out from the right wing. Very aware there from the young man. Before Castaneda just dribbles through a couple before Teddy Kadisha picks it up. He's got a mover out wide in Brown. It's a little unmarked. He just jinks inside here on Tommy Little. Gets his head up and just moving it out wide again here to the right-hand side through Naden.
And as we have Naden looking to cut inside, got Vandermeer at full stretch. And like the business Ortman. Playing it inside and just trying to control play. And that's a chip through ball from Castaneda to nobody in particular. And just
I was going to say, we've been quiet about Mr. In particular. He's usually a big feature in our commentary games, but both of those balls were to nobody in particular.
yes, about time he got a good run there, Mr. Nobody in particular. It's looking forward to see Castaneda get back to the talent that he's clearly shown in the past, the former representative of Australia at youth level. Hopefully he can get some consistent game time here in the NPL this season.
And I've certainly seen a few reasons today why he was, because there's been some beautiful footwork from him, but more than anything, seeing him in a holding role, I've been really impressed by the way he's managed to hold on to the ball and not just screen the defence. He's certainly showed his quality in that regard.
Yeah, certainly looking to play the role similar to an Andre Perlo in his later years.
Yeah, he's got the Perlo role, if you will. a chance here for Knights with the throw in, but we won't quite go putting the ceiling on him just at that just yet.
Paul Hunt just sucking up to his boss there.
It's a good ball in, and Johnson happily claims.
We see Andrew Cooling with the no Pirlo, no party shirt there. You know that Funt wants the big gig for the big games this year, and he wants me out, I reckon, there, Cooling.
It's not a bad way of going about it, that's for sure. Any praise of the great man. I'll happily get around as Vandermeer strokes this one back to his keeper, Brett Johnson. Hasn't been overly tested in this one so far. Paul Stevens charging out of defence. Knights sitting back, and he just lofts it over the top. Real Route 1 stuff. Nothing comes of it. Alex Holmes nods into the path of Castaneda, does well to get round Bellini, then tried to thread it past Teddy Kadisha, who's made a couple of nice blocks early in this one as Kadisha. Get it into the bullseye for Ladic. He volleys it in the Naden direction. Getting back was Stevens. The ball just holding up in the breeze a little there. Now Jack Kupsch. Paul Stevens just reading the play superbly so far, and then Koso's away down the left here. He's running at Tyler Harrison. Some fancy footwork here from Nkoso. I think it's dealt with rather unceremoniously. Play on, he got enough of the ball. Tyler Harrison charging back the other way, and once again he ran to the great wall of Paul Stevens.
It's very much like a late 19th century game here, where just as soon as you get the ball you try and dribble the whole team. We've seen Vandermeer and Harrison do that, as we've got Dawa on the right hand side. And come back inside to Castaneda. A lovely touch from Eduardo, but again down the throat of Dimitri Nestor, who gets a second bite of the cherry. He's got Nick Naden on this near side here in a bit of space, but he'll to launch that one long.
He's certainly good with both feet, Castaneda, but potentially just taking that shot, I think, with the left. Oh, as we see Brown cop a bad tug there from Little. He looks to keep going, and Jinks inside on him. He's got Kurdistan in the middle, ignores him, goes to Naden and Brown, but well kept there from Brett Johnson.
Yeah, did exceptionally well rushing out of his box there. Did the American Johnson. He had two Knights players bearing down on him, and now we've got Undy looking to go this way. It's pretty end-to-end stuff here today. It's a lovely touch around the corner into the near post. Good back heel. Undy again with it. And Koso can't quite get to it and tracks back and commits the foul.
That was like watching Arsenal play from Olympia Warriors. There's some beautiful touches in and around the box, but not really quite looking like they could penetrate into that final position there, but certainly some beautiful build-up there. And again, lovely skill from Jakey Vandermeer getting up the pitch.
Noted for that side of his game, Vandermeer, but he's been prominent so far and has certainly nullified the threat of Nick Naden pretty well. Tyler Harrison to his defensive partner, Teddy Kadisha. Callum Brown, a rare poor touch from him, almost let the business Ortman in.
Just wondering if it really could be a bit of a tactic there from Dale Hitchens to tell Jakey Vandermeer to get a bit forward, because I've been watching a lot of Nick Naden, and he's certainly been aware enough to track back at times, which is always the kind of discipline that you want to see, but just potentially a tactic there from Dale Hitchens. Oh, and we see Castaneda nearly getting in there before Nestor clears away, and that was some dangerous stuff from the Knights as I wax lyrical about my favourite players.
You're all right there, mate. The depth perception throwing you off a little there, I reckon, as they spread it wide. It wasn't the kindest pass back to the keeper, though, that's for sure. Here's Jack Kupsch with some quick feet. Now the magic man Bellini with the early cross. That was shut down, and they're back on mass there, the Warriors.
But on that point, I do think that is the one thing that Knights aren't used to as much in the Vivo Southern Championships, is the Vito, I should say, is that pressure in defence. They're used to just being able to stroke it out from one side of the defence to the other, and this time they've got Undy and Nkoso and Castaneda pushing forward from midfield to really apply that pressure, and I think that's just not what they're quite used to, so I think they'll have to get it out wider a bit quicker, I think.
They've certainly shown they can score plenty of goals throughout the pre-season, but they haven't faced a team perhaps like the Warriors with as much to play for. And they played the Summer Series games and did well, but there wasn't a heap in your pre-season games, and they were far too strong for the championship teams in the Summer Cup, but the pressure has really gone up on that defence tonight. Perhaps being asked questions they haven't been. That was superb from Callum Brown linking up with Bellini. Kurdistan just played it behind his man. He needed to continue the flowing move. He had Declan in space. Another chance perhaps here. Go towards Naden. Paul Stevens. He's winning everything that comes his way. Big Paul Stevens in the middle of the Warriors' defence.
Well, the own goal has been the only moment of doubt for that man. I think he's actually had a really good game apart from that unfortunate moment, Paul Stevens. But as is the cruel way of this game, we'll all talk about that as Wadawu into space, across the ground, cut out well by Kadisha there. a dangerous position. So it looked like Samet and Koso had almost changed positions there for a second. Wadawu again out wide, heads it on to Undy. He plays it first time, well defended by Harrison, and he gets it away. Gets his head up, just goes in short there to Brown. Some good play here from Knights, just a couple of good little passes to hang on to it before Naden over the top. And well off his line and well alert there, Johnson, the American, to knock it out of play before Naden could take a touch. Well done, Johnson.
Certainly something I think Dale Hitchens has warned him of here with Knights with the through balls. Johnson, that surely handball from Brown. Looked like he elbowed that one forward from up here, but nothing given as Kadisha lays it out to Samuel James. Then looking down the wing to Callum Brown. Probably could have played in Kurdistan there, instead played in Hugh Undy, who does likewise and puts it out the wing. Dimitri Nesta just gets there in time against the on-rushing attacker. He's done well there, has the 30-something keeper.
Yeah, certainly wasn't looking 30-something there. A bit more 20-something, I think, from Nesta.
He's ageless. He's Dimmy Nesta, that's for sure. The Knights' #1 gloveman. There's a chance as we tick towards half-time here. 5 to play. Knights will take this one quickly. Harrison punches it forward to Brown. He couldn't pick out Bellini. There's Vandermeer just shielding that one over the line in front of the wet area there. Well populated, unsurprisingly, the wet area here at Warrior Park for a ripping evening of football and a good contest.
And apologies to George if it's not happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Moobrew is flowing over there.
I'm not too sure. On the clocks, I haven't made my way down there yet.
No, neither.
I suspect it might be.
I try not to drink on the job as Brent Johnson launches that goal kick forward. Might surprise some of you out there,
Yeah,
but I
with the rubbish you talk, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think most people would be, as that's now back to Teddy Kadisha. He's looking for Naden. The idea was there. And then Castaneda with a lovely headed through ball. Hugh Undy now out wide. The switch flanks here. Back to Hugh Undy with a right foot shot.
Side
and
net.
gets that one into the side netting. Nesta covered that near post pretty well as we have a look at that one.
It's just the switch there between Samet and Wadawu out wide that allowed that one to get in, but yeah, never troubling there. That shot from Hugh Undy, just getting it a bit off target, not as composed as that first finish in his game, and almost a glorious through ball there from Alex Holmes, but dominant just at the back there, the young man.
Just a bit worried about some of the gaps in the spacing we're seeing at the back for the Knights. The central defenders and fullbacks are nowhere near close enough. There has been big gaps, and Olympia have really taken advantage.
I certainly got it wrong in the first 10 minutes or so. I was thinking that they were playing the back three with James staying so deep, but it certainly is a back four that they're playing out there, the Knights, and yeah, it certainly has looked stretched at time, despite the fact that I've been quite impressed by Kadisha.
And charging forwards now is the business Altman, but that will spill out the back. Hopefully enough for Dimmy Nesta. He's got a few minutes here for Knights to try and hit back. They're trailing 2-1 at the moment. Ladic, he's hit a number of those first-time passes, and they've all gone straight to feet, but that was very sloppy from Bellini.
Needed a bit more communication there as Naden had made the inside run, and we're taking that away from him as Vandermeer launches that one to Nkoso. Another nice touch from Ladic, which we've seen plenty of this evening. Now Bellini sprays it out wide. Brown 1v1 with Tommy Little, looks to hit the byline there and shoots. Oh, manages to squeeze that one in the far post. Another superb finish there from Callum Brown.
And Callum Brown and the Knights give the sword there. What a finish and what dribbling prowess to go past Tommy Little there. Fantastic stuff from Brown. 2-2 and we've got a game, boys.
He's unplayable, this young man, at the moment. He is doing this week in, week out, leaving defenders in his wake, and he smashes that one to the far corner. Just drove past Tommy Little, left him in his wake, and then he hammers this to perfection. The keeper was protecting the near post, in off the far post. It's about the only place he could have put that one, and he did. 2-2.
Take a bow, Brown, and you have excited me because tipped the 4-2 coming into this, and I'm quite excited for that one now. Looking good after this first half. So we see Little get on the ball. He goes out wide to Samet, who has stayed on the right-hand side. Just looking to invert those wingers and perhaps jink in a little bit more, the Warriors. So perhaps hasn't played to their to their strength maybe. So Hugh Undy on the ball. He gets there before Nesta. Open goal off the post, and it just rolls away. Extraordinary from Hugh Undy.
I don't know how that stayed out. It looked a certain goal.
How is that so unfortunate?
How is that scientifically possible as Huundi manages to get in front of Nesta, touches it
Great
around,
first touch.
gets it around the keeper, right foot finish, manages to hit the inside of the near post from there, and then it
I tell you
trickles
what,
in slow motion across the goal line.
I reckon that the Glenorchy Knights have brought someone who is force sensitive here today, because there is no way possible that that should not have crossed the line.
Maybe a little bit of sandpaper on the ball.
Yeah,
Can't be
potentially.
ruled out, because that ball did funny things and just stayed out and swung the other way as far as Olympia are concerned. They almost had their lead restored immediately. This game has just jumped
Be a
back
good
to
press
life.
conference.
That is more reverse swing than it was in
Well,
Macram.
forget your sandpaper, there's a sandstorm going on here at the moment. Just drifting across the Warrior pitch. I'm quite enjoying being up here this evening in the box, fellas. It's not a great night to be out and about.
I think Georgie Mamarcus is going to have to be buying some goggles for his players if that keeps up out there. Certainly capable of blinding you, but just returning to live play here for a second, aside from our excited silliness, we see Eduardo.
That was a sandstorm, that's not silly. All we needed was the Darude in the background, and it's just gone AWOL so far today.
As we see Castaneda, all just getting blown away a little bit there. It certainly has kicked up the breeze. One of those classic Tasmanian westerlies that we're seeing start to pick up. And look at it go.
I wish we had
It is
copyright to
chaos.
play that at the moment. It is an absolute windstorm coming through Warrior Park
actually,
here.
we've got it all wrong. We've got a great atmosphere here. Somebody has clearly lit up the flare already for the Olympia Warriors, and he's getting very excited. But Castaneda drives the ball in straight at Dimmy Nesta.
Well, we have had magic of the cup matches before with the sweet waft of Souvlaki come across and cause a national bit of news there. And there's the crunching challenge in there. This is just Warrior Park's version as Kupsch looking to get that one. And then just gave it in. Goes inside to Ladic. And he's got Naden on one side. Back to Kupsch. Now plays it forward. And just overrun. Stevens did, but Bellini finds no one in particular. Kurdistan gives chase, but I think Johnson had that one covered the whole way.
It gives chase and gives a little bit of a shove there too. Could have been a pretty bad collision between the Olympia boys there, but Huundi again in space, hasn't he? He had a good first half before the sliding challenge comes in from Kupsch out there to knock it away for an Olympia throw.
So we're into stoppage time here in the first half. Going to the sandstorm end at the moment, the Warriors, as Castaneda strikes it back to Paul Stevens, who's got one to goal and some very good defensive work. That's a lovely pass, but a slightly heavy touch. Just letting the Knights defence in, and that'll be all for the first half, says Josh McInerney. And what a pulsating first 45 minutes we've had.
I tell you what, I watched the Arsenal-Stoke game last night, and it was nowhere near as entertaining as this fixture has been so far. We've seen end-to-end football, we've seen a couple of great goals, and an utterly imperious own goal too, you have to say. It's been an entertaining half, Andrew.
Yeah, Paul Stevens with the pick of the goals, that's for sure, with his
or Brown.
effort that just defied physics, really. But we'll leave you with those highlights of the first half. We've certainly got the close crunch game we've been wanting from the Cup all day after 7 absolute blowouts. So do stay with us. It should be an intriguing second 45. A bit of magic from Callum Brown has got the Knights back on terms, and we are poised for a huge second half. We'll be back in around about 15 minutes.
This is the magic of the Cup.
High ball, putting Katisha under significant pressure. Undy said Nesta comes out and does exceptionally well. Nip that one in the butt.
Over there to engage in that sort of things. And Koso charges into the box here. He's got serious wheels. Teddy Katisha did really well to win it. There was a half shot.
Down the wing, crossed high, into the back post with Darwin, will look to chase it down. And he manages to keep it in well, cuts it back inside, dummy again.
Huundi.
Castaneda! Oh, it's right down the throat of Dimitri Nesta.
Knights. Ball falls straight away out to Castaneda, who thinks he's just going to take on Nick Naden there before he gives away a little bit of a tug and another.
A couple of weeks ago, but now he's looming as a very important part of the midfield. He punches this one dangerously into the box. Tyler Harrison gets a foot on it and puts it in
One
post.
with Samad.
Certainly exposed here. Kurdistan just taking on. That's going top corner. Wow. Certainly had to be alert from Johnson perhaps as Knights look to get it inside. Brown, he's got bodies in the box, goes himself and nearly nutmegs Johnson. Jeez, that's some dangerous stuff from the American keeper there. But
The free kick. Chips it up towards the middle of the box. Nesta punches away. It'll fall to the feet of Samuel James. Just keep on coming here. Vandermeer charging through the midfield here. The big centre-back slides it through for Warren Wadawu. He gets it at the second efforts. I thought Nesta had denied him. He got a second bite at and he puts it away. The Warriors take the lead.
And who do you give the credit for that goal to? Big Jakey Vandermeer. He turns from the rage.
One of them instead. It's out the back to Bellini, who goes the low chip. And that's an absolute howler. Absolute own goal there.
Oh, jeez. The finish there from the defender is absolutely top class.
Bo Stevens.
Jeez, he's going to be a bit upset with that
Around
one.
there for a small while until he turned up on the team sheet for Olympia as normal, as Brown whips that one near post right down the throat of Johnson, and may have slightly Sammet was in about 30 yards of space. He's got it now and got Undy through the middle, stays onside. Hugh Undy coolly slots that one past Dimmy Nesta for 2-1 Olympia Warriors. Pretty direct style there from Olympia, but it does the business.
Cool, calm and collected from Hugh Undy there, and he just picked up the ball in a pocket of space, dished off the 1-2, and well finished there at the end.
Crowd in here for Easter Monday evening. Pretty much all sides of people on it, as Koso has a pretty ambitious effort there. Got good power on it, but I think Nesta...
As well as Hugh Undy. Undy just making a little lead into a pocket of space. He looks in that direction, but yeah, just a pretty poor foul there. A little bit worried about their back three at times.
There's the ball rifled into the near post. No one home for the Warriors.
Go putting the ceiling on him just at that just yet.
Paul Hunt just sucking up to his boss there.
It's a good ball in, and Johnson happily...
Koso's away down the left here. He's running at Tyler Harrison. Some fancy footwork here from Nkoso. I think it's dealt with rather unceremoniously.
Dale on the right-hand side. Come back inside to Castaneda. A lovely touch from Eduardo, but again down the throat of Dimitri Nesta.
Certainly good with both feet, Castaneda, but potentially just taking that shot, I think, with the left. Oh, as we see Brown cop a bad tug there from Little. He looks to keep going. He looks to keep going, and Jinx inside on him. He's got Kurdistan in the middle, ignores him, goes to Naden and Brown, but well kept there from Brett Johnson.
Post good back heel. Hugh Undy again with it. And Koso can't quite get to it and tracks back and commits the foul.
That was like watching us. Potentially a tactic there from Dale Itchens. Oh, and we see Castaneda nearly getting in there before Nesta clears away, and that was some danger. As is the cruel way of this game. We'll all talk about that as Wadawu into space, across the ground, cut out well by Kadisha there. A dangerous position here from Knights. Just a couple of good little passes to hang on to it before Naden over the top, and well off his line, and well alert there Johnson, the American, to knock it out.
Does likewise and puts it out the wing. Dimitri Nesta just gets there in time against the on-rushing attacker. He's done well there, has the 30-something keep. Hugh Undy now out wide, the switch flanks here, back to Hugh Undy with a right foot shot.
Side net.
Hits that one into the side netting. 1v1 with Tommy Little, looks to hit the byline there and shoots. Oh, manages to squeeze that one in the far post. Another superb finish there from Callum Brown.
And Callum Brown and the Knights give the sword there. What a finish and what dribbling prowess to go past Tommy Little there. Fantastic. Played to their strength maybe, so Hugh Undy on the ball. He gets there before Nesta, open goal off the post, and it just rolls away. Extraordinary from Hugh Undy.
I don't know how that stayed out. It looked a certain goal. Almost had their lead restored immediately. This game has just jumped back to life.
A good press conference.
That is more reverse swing than it was in Macram.
Got the flair already for the Olympia Warriors, and he's getting very excited. But Castaneda drives the ball in straight at Dimmy Nesta.
Well, we have had Badgers forward. Just overrun Stevens did, but Bellini finds no one in particular. Kurdistan gives chase, but I think Johnson had that one covered.
Yeah, you'll probably be out every second weekend. Yeah. 40 up. At least you can verse it after reality. Yeah. That's how it's Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite was shootout. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty lucky because we didn't go out for kids this weekend, so all I've been doing this week.
And we're back for the second half here at Warrior Park. What a second half we have in store. 2-2 after 45 minutes. A highly enjoyable game. There hasn't been perhaps a performance from either side that the coaches would love in a defensive sense, but we've certainly loved it up here. And I'm looking forward to 45 minutes more, maybe even a little more the way it's been going. But boys, what do you think both teams have to do to win this one?
I think for Glenorchy Knights, we were talking off air about how much space once John Olympia pushes up, as we see him get the ball to commence the second half, that leaving their two centre-backs pretty exposed there. So I think just shoring up the centre-back, centre-defensive midfield area, and for Olympia, just getting the ball to their key players, Wadawu and Undi, as much as they possibly can. They've done very well so far this game, and that'd be my keys for each team.
So we just see Jake Vandermeer almost set off on another one of his becoming customary slaloming runs, but he gives it up quite quickly, and we got Brown running at Little here once again. He just looks inside to the other Brown, who goes in, and Brown's through. It could be 3-2. It is! The Glenorchy Knights, within 40 seconds of the restart, could have made it 3-2 here, and they have. The flag has stayed down. What a glorious finish there from Brown.
Callum Brown does it again. He has two. The Knights have the lead in a blink of an eye here to start the half. They've caught the Warriors perhaps napping out of the sheds. Callum Brown grabs his second. We'll have a look at that. And the Knights make it 3-2. It's the Browns combining. Declan in the middle for Bellini. Just far too much space. You cannot give a player of that quality that much space. And on the non-preferred, he just slides it home. And this game has done a real 180. And it's the Knights now in the lead.
And it certainly is, as Wadawu looking to hit back immediately. Tries to stand up James, who does well. And Kadisha now gets around and makes the covering defence. I actually saw that was a goal because I could hear the Knights fans roaring to our right here before the ball even hit the back of the net, as it's now 2v1, and somehow Castaneda gets out there. Third in Kadisha, manages to get out with Wadawu to the back post. Samet nearly there, but Dimitri Nesta will clean that one up.
There's almost a highlight reel in there, a little back flick there from Castaneda, who was about to run into a brick wall. That was some brilliant stuff before they went to the not too imposing figure of Samet for the header, and he was comfortably out-jumped there by, I think, Harrison. But yeah, it's a really exciting start to this half, and this game has come alive, boys, once again.
Exactly, not too much rust coming out of the sheds here as we see Declan Brown try to get Kadisha, just shanks that one into the night sky. Castaneda battles for it now with Dawu, just trying to get the ball on the deck. Huundi,
some good volleyball.
Yeah, plenty of time there. As now eventually Ladich will try and get it away. Gets caught in a sandwich, play on. As with Dawu now, and if you call that, you've got to call the one before that, referee.
I did think it was a foul though, which is, to be fair, we can always miss them, but yeah, probably a foul there on Wadawu. Not really sure what this conversation's going on about, but
he's clearly tripped him in the back there, has the nice player.
Yeah, certainly hard to see on that camera angle, but we just saw the Knights attempt to push that back about a couple of metres, and Eduardo Castaneda was having none of it. Certainly an imposing position here, and a great chance to shoot for goal, I reckon, for Wadawu. Got to curl that top right corner.
He should have gone the quick free kick. Got the yellow card. Anyway, steps up for the real thing and smashes it straight into the wall. Will it spin behind for a corner? Not if Brown can prevent it, and he does so. The youngster kept it in too, somehow.
It was a powerful coming together there with Big Holmesy up there too, coming with Brown. They are two people who do not back off, that is certain.
No, it was very well done, and Wadawu certainly put his foot through that one to concede the throw-in, just waiting for the ball to be found on this grandstand side here towards the wet area, as Knights have got off to a roaring start. Not sure about Olympia there, just a little bit late out of the sheds. That will not appease Dale Hitchens in the slightest, as that one launched towards Castaneda. Now the business Ortman. Through to Huundi.
There's some
Jake
good signs.
Vandermeer, the new striker, as he's taken the confidence from his dribble before and thought he'd have a shot from 40 yards out. Pretty optimistic.
Yeah, always comfortable there for Nesta. It was the definition of optimism, I think. The technique wasn't too bad from him, though, just perhaps struck the ball a little early. As we see back in live play, Kadisha looked to play it out to James. Just lobs it up into the air. Great header one there by Castaneda with the slight body, but you see Huundi get onto the ball. He's got Samet out wide, goes and Koso. He's got Undy on the inside, but well defended and perhaps just took a few too many touches there, the Warriors player.
Yeah, I think some sort of back heel was needed. There's Kurdistan now in a race with Holmes, but Johnson will beat the both of them. It was a nice turn to try and play it out quickly.
Yeah, and Huundi just having a little word there with Joffrey and Kozo that I was utterly unmarked centre of the goal, and you probably should have picked me out there. A little bit disappointing there for the Warriors, but they're just starting to work their way back into this game now and take the ascendancy again.
I'm sure he told him that in just as polite terms as you articulated then, Jake Morgan.
He said, you could have please passed to me there, Joffrey, next time. Perhaps I had a fairly good chance.
Sounds like reading a kid's storybook as we see the throw-in taken down the wing. A lovely turn from Nicholas Naden. That one goes a little too close to our camera there.
A couple of complaints there from our producer about his gorgeous wife out there doing a fantastic job again covering this game with the camera.
Here's Callum Brown bobbing up in the middle of the park. There was a foul, I thought, on his brother, but play allowed to continue. And now on the counter-attack, the Warriors through the postman Wadawu, running at Teddy Kadisha. Ducks inside, picks out Castaneda. Well done, Tyler Harrison. Did it superbly, the big fella. Charges out of defence now. Gets around the business. His pass was straight to Tommy Little, and it's going to be brought back for an advantage. So bailed out there a little bit. So we have a look at this defensive play here from Harrison. Working back on Castaneda. And I'll tell you what, I reckon he might have just gone away with one there.
I was thinking that at the time, actually, and then I had a look on the replay and didn't think so. But there you go. Shows how hard the job of referees can be. As Brown ducks in, has a shot himself. Just fizzing over the top there. Horrifically worrying signs there for the Olympia Warriors. He is really coming into this game, isn't he?
Yeah, both Brown boys starting to liven things up here at Warrior Park. Their side in the lead. The confidence is growing.
He plays like a Son Heung-min that can shoot from distance. He's looking really damn good out there, you got to say, Brown.
Yeah, there's a chance for Callum again, and he tried to link up with Declan but couldn't on this occasion. Altman smashes it over the top looking for the run of Nkoso, who snuck in behind here. Joffrey Nkoso tries to pull it back, scrapping away with Kadisha, and Kadisha does just about enough.
And that is a pretty disgraceful dive there too, I think, from Joffrey Nkoso, trying to get something out of that one, but he was comfortably beaten by Kadisha, so some fantastic defending, a little bit of a backwards crab walk coming up in a second. Yeah, well done there from Kadisha to get inside, and just with a little body, he just decides he's going to jump a good metre to the side there.
See that in the Commonwealth Games coming up this week, but hopefully not any more here. Knights fans certainly let him know about that. Towards Nkoso, Bellini hits that one out wide to Kupch, who's got Hayden in front, and Kurdistan offering short, and as he was offering short, Holmes has got a few yards of pace on him, and while in the press conference this week, he was complaining he was getting on a bit, Holmesy. He's still got enough pace there to cover that one.
Yeah, said he pulled up all right for his first couple of games. He's a little bit sore, a little bit older than he used to be.
He's certainly a 20-something, isn't he? Getting towards the later end of that.
Well, yeah, haven't been given the something with him, as that one's out of play. Unlike the international man of mystery down at this near end here, Dimmy Nesta.
Never know.
The ageless
could
wonder.
Be 39 for all we know.
I'd be very, very concerned if he was, given I was playing under 15s cricket with him for a while. It'd be something seriously askew if he suddenly aged that much, as the Warriors now charging back the other way, and some serious pace here offered by Castaneda. He was held up nicely though by Declan Brown, but some sharp skills there, and then threading it through. It's a beautiful ball. Joffrey Nkoso now up against Tyler Harrison. One way, then the other he weaves, and behind it goes for a corner.
Take a bow, Eduardo Castaneda. Wasn't this a beautiful dribbling run? He's polite enough to do it in perfect view of our cameras, and get a load of this in a second. He's going to take it. There we go. Just roll that back, and I'm going to tell you to go and get a hot dog, Brown. It's beautiful stuff.
He just overcommitted, hadn't he? And he took full advantage as the corner
and the ball
for the Warriors here. So he swung in. It was a very good ball indeed. It's the postman Wadawu hovering over this one. It's a ball to the back post. Not dealt with. Is that over the line? Where's the goal line technology when you
cleared, I think, there from either Harrison or James, one of them on the line, but Brown's on his way now, and they're flooding back into that open space before he just takes an unfortunately poor touch there for the man, and it's once again back in Olympia hands.
Let's get the VAR in FFA Cup, in Lakoseljac Cup games. That's what we need to liven it up as we have a look. It was a mad scramble. I thought on first instinct they cleared it off the line.
It's James.
And I think Jamil James has just stuck a leg out enough there. We couldn't quite see the line, but he was standing on the line and kicked it forward, so you'd like to think that that hasn't crossed the line.
Take a bow, Captain James, because things would be 3-3 if you hadn't gotten inside and just cut that one out. Nesta came, didn't get near it, so fantastic work for the defender to be alert enough on the line, and that is why I love at set pieces to have a bloke on the corner post.
We've seen a bit of that in the last couple of weeks. Goals being saved off the line in the MPL Taz. I think there was 3 last weekend, and another one here today. The value of having those men on the post from corners in full effect as Castaneda looks to thread the eye of the needle. He passed it straight to Tyler Harrison.
Didn't really look like anybody wanted the ball there in particular, but Knights again recycle it, but poor touch there from Kupch allows the Warriors into a dangerous spot, and they lob it over the top before Dawu and Brown have it coming together. Not even going to attempt to try and differentiate the two of them at times today, because they're pretty much wearing the same number and they look exactly the same. I mean, they're being cruel to us.
I feel like from us here, at least we're a completely different number. If one wants to take 2 and the other takes 99, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, 18 and 19, not doing a lot of favours. Although that was Declan on that occasion doing the work on the touchline as it's thrown to Warren Wadawu. Hoinked goalwards by Vandermeer. It's going to come down to Callum Brown. He flicked it onto Kurdistan. His immediate release was decent, but unfortunately, as the target man, he was not on the end of his own work there.
Yeah, that's where he was meant to be, was Kurdistan, and we haven't seen a whole lot of Kurdistan lately. That's a lovely ball on this right-hand side in the little direction. Dinks it inside to Samet. Gets it a little bit caught between his feet. Eventually gets out of it. Gets back to Undy, but the momentum from that move has been lost. Altman was just letting that one through to Holmes, who hits that one again to our favourite person up here, no one in particular.
They've been impressive, I have to say, those couple of midfielders, the young boys here for the Warriors. We certainly flagged that in the pre-game that was going to be a crucial battle, and it's been a really open affair in that midfield, but they have more than acquitted themselves quite well, you'd have to say.
Timmy Ness just getting the shoe done up there by Tyler Harrison. And looked after by his centre-back there, the keeper.
Yeah, always good to see. You know, you'd think he's 30-something isn't so old that you're not capable of tying your own shoes, I think, though.
Maybe he isn't.
Sometimes you just don't learn these things in life, as that's a good long ball as Kurdistan as well in the inside. Bellini tracks it down. Ladich for options, couldn't quite get there. It's a crunching slide challenge, and somewhere out of all of that, they end up with the ball through Kupch. Back to Naden, and Kupch getting up on the ground as well. Knights still with the ball, hand over the shoulder, but play on given there. Ladich just...
That's the I've given a foul hand sign, I think. So you see Brown just tip it into space there for Brown, but they're going down and out, unfortunately.
I suppose we read the sideline there. He's probably used to just spraying that one a bit wider, but that's just rolled out harmlessly.
So the throw in. Tommy Little smashing it
early
along,
days.
looking for Joffrey and Koso. Now John Ladich, who's been so impressive in front of the back four, trying to thread that one through, but Alex Holmes was on hand at the back for the Warriors. Now it's Vandermeer. So the business Altman. He looks up. Now looks to spread the play. Can he get over James Head? What a ball from the business Altman. Releases Warren Wadawu. Drives it across the face and just misses the far post. What a ball from Ortman.
Oh, Ortman, Mark Ortman, take a bow, because we were flagging earlier in this game a little bit of the Pirlo party, but that was the Pirlo party, that ball over the top, and James just not quite being able to get the header to it before Wadawu found space inside and just had a couple of bodies in the middle of the box that he could have attempted to pick out maybe, boys.
Everyone else in the ground wanted him to shoot, and I was up here with the hand signal. Undy and Nkoso driving through the middle there. Not necessarily guaranteed a goal from that, but certainly heightens the odds. He went for power there with Dawu and couldn't quite replicate the absolute corker Callum Brown scored in the first half, and still 3-2. That's good hustle from Nkoso. Nearly got the chip through ball to Undy. No luck there is now set. Recycled out this left-hand side. Both Browns joining forces down this side. Callum storming through, back to Declan, back to Callum. Sliding in. There's a fantastic slide challenge right there. That is a thing of absolute beauty from Holmesy.
Get a load.
His frame here.
Oh, I love it. And in such a dangerous position, you've got to get them right, and boy, he did. Alex Holmes, take a bow. That's one for our highlights reel later on. Tackle of the game so far. We're just seeing a lot of congestion down here on this side before Wadawu plays the ball to Nkoso. Just offside, I think.
Yep.
And the flag correctly raised there from the linesman. Certainly looked to be in a pretty dangerous position there for the Warriors, but just creeping offside and making his run a bit early there in Kozo.
Yep, so from that camera angle, but we had an excellent view of it up here, and it was definitely the correct call. He just straight goal side there as the long diagonal is brought down by Naden. His second touch was hoofed away though by Vandermeer. Got back in position and edged it away from the former Clarence winger. Throw in for the Knights, Jack Kupch. Lobbed it straight onto the head of Vandermeer.
I was just about to say, I'm a little bit worried about the gap there that Ladich had left, but he certainly recovered well and got into a good spot. We're going to see Brown and Brown combine here for a second. The ball is just kicked away there.
Every time the Brown boys get on the ball, you just get the feeling something might happen. They're just such
the Brown
game
brothers.
breakers. They're just combination play, and especially in this half, they've played a little closer to each other and they're really linking up well as they try Kurdistan, but nicely done, Tommy Little. He wins the free kick.
Yeah, done well there. Here's Tommy Little. See what they can do from this. 60 minutes gone. It's 3-2 Knights, and a real grandstand finish set up here at Warrior Park. And after much deliberation, the keeper will push everyone up and launch this one forward. A few options up here, one being Nkoso, and Kadisha gets up there and gets a fair bit of the ball. As far as with Dawu, who's now just trying to play around the Glenorchy Knights player, not quite that easily. Now goes the chip through ball. Kadisha and James combined to knock that one clear. Oh, Castaneda's hit that one the wrong way. Now back to Kupch. who's now got the through ball, the lovely one through there. Now Nick Naden. Kurdistan in the centre, still Naden. Goes the outside ball, there's 4 in the box. And that one's going to go back post and well cut out there by the Warriors and just missed that crucial opportunity there.
Yeah, he could have put a little bit more onto that ball into the box there. I think could Bellini, but look at that from Mark Altman. That is exactly what you want to see from a box-to-box midfielder, isn't it? Just getting into that space, stops the cross from coming in. Mature stuff from the young man.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Bundy. Need a bit more on it. The Warriors had protected that near post as this one swung to the back stick and it's headed off the line. The business Altman again. Brown smashes it over the top. It was Brown of the Declan variety on this occasion. And he rifled that one, but it was always rising as they somehow survive this one. I think it was Altman who makes the initial stop.
I think there's going to have to be a 15-minute extended highlight edition. Did he just attempt the punch there too? I think the attempted hand of God there maybe from Tyler Harrison before, once again, that thing that we always talk about, have a man on that back stick because it will save you goals.
As the salad Bellini is introduced here. So Dale Hitchens shuffles his deck. Bellini comes on for Tommy Little. And I suspect we'll see Samet sliding back into fullback as a result of that. I'm not sure why you'd play him at right back and Vandermeer at left back, but it seems to be the direction they've gone with.
Inverted wingers he's gone with.
Inverted fullback. I mean, he's just thrown all tactics out the window and invented the inverted fullback.
Oh, I don't mind it. I was a big fan of that on FIFA.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm quite as big a fan of it on Warrior Park, though.
No. I mean,
well, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, all wingers are pretty much inverted of the width of this ground, so I mean, it's not that much of a difference in theory.
I suspect largely it is Samet's a quicker player than Vandermeer, and you've got Callum Brown out on this flank, and you want someone with a bit more leg speed to mark him.
Oh, so. That sounds a bit too sensible for my liking, cool.
Sorry, Paul.
We see those two
back down to our level
about to come together now. Samuel James on the ball, but he coughs it up to Undy. Warren Wadawi making a nice run, almost ignored him. He plays the ball into the box and Bellini almost didn't quite put as much effort into getting on the end of that as he could have, but good signs here for the Warriors, getting into some dangerous spots, but Undy could have maybe played that ball a little earlier to Wadawi too.
Yeah, a fair bit of juice on the cross down on this side, so I'm not sure Bellini had too much of an option on that. He seems to he's moved up to the central forward role, and Kosa moving back to the wing has the salad Bellini. Oh, I'm very, very excited to see on the pitch as that one has gone only as far as Samet, the new right back. Very versatile player. Chip through ball in the Wadawu direction, but Kadisha shanks that clearance only as far as Hugh Undy. Avoids the postman with a step over. And he's still got the option to pass to the postman, eventually does. Samet with a nice dummy, and it's probably about time they switch this one. Vandermeer got a fair bit of space on that side. Holmes elects to reverse field. But
it was that Nick Naden tracking back that prevented that ball from being played out there. So really good stuff from him. But yeah, once again, just a little foul given away there by Olympia. But I always got to praise stuff like that when you see offensive players just willing to do the hard yards and deny options for the opposing team. So really good work there from Nick Naden, who has been pretty tireless in defence, yeah, I might say.
Yeah, and that's the old eagle eye there, Jake Morgan, spotting that one. It was very well spotted from Naden, tracking back from the left wing positions. That one goes long into the night sky and managed to keep in from Brown. He's going to look inside with the step over, beats one, but just didn't quite get past it again. It was going for the repeat of his goal in the Summer Cup final there, Brown. He eventually turns himself into a corner, and I think that one will be a goal kick.
You know, the defending's actually been reasonably good for a 2-3 game, you have to say. Maybe there's been a few times where they could have gotten stuck in a bit harder, but I have to say Paul Stevens in particular has been really good, other than that unfortunate own goal that he scored in the first half.
I've been racking my brain to try to think of as good well, not good as an own goal, but as spectacular as an own goal. It's pretty hard.
Carl Jenkinson.
Yeah, I had that or Tony Popovich on the mind in terms of my own goals there.
Just a bit of a whack to the head, I think, here for Harrison. We might have another look at that in a second, but correctly, the referee just stopping the play there. Always have to be sure when somebody's had a head injury, but yeah, pretty horrible tunnel, really. And just a little bit of a whiplash there.
Yeah, got there flat on the back.
But he is back up, perhaps having the wind knocked out of him a little bit and shaking his sore wrist, but you don't kick the ball with your wrist. He'll play on.
Yeah, and certainly if he's got the wind knocked out of him, there's plenty of wind to put back in him as that's a dicey back pass and to Petrie Nesta. Calmly hits that one and turns into a wonderful through ball. Not going to touch his Van der May, got the wrong side, but Holmes bails him out. Naden looking pretty promising there as Holmes elects to go down the wing. And as far as Cooch, now John O'Ladich. Oh, nice inside ball there. Jinx under the left foot and Brownell. What a save! Johnson with an absolute corker of a left-handed save. Yes, we'll have a look at that one on replay. Brown hit that one on the left foot. Did Declan.
Going to the right. That right hand comes out and just gets a fingertip to the top. I think he got a fingertip to the top. I'm absolutely sticking to it because the view that we had are better than that camera angle, and he got a save there, and that is save of the match there from Johnson. Give that man full credit. Beautiful stuff.
I'm not having that from our producer. That is one of the great saves you will see, and that is why there is a corner being offered here to the Knights. Don't sell Brett Johnson short on that. That's kept his side in the game. Now they need to do it again to the back post. Away Van der May on Koso. It was a heavy touch and a poor ball in the end from Cooch out there. It just slides out of play, but it keeps it at 3-2.
And we'll definitely be seeing that save in the highlights
producers
package.
put a question mark on that over the save, and there is absolutely no doubting it. We knew it, the ref knew it, the player knew it, the goalkeeper knew it.
If it was Kieran Brown, it would have been save of the year, I tell you. Because here's a chance. This one's punched straight down the keeper's throat.
Dissing my boys, mate.
Still claiming they need a replay check on that one as Wadawu is now in, calls for offside,
Koso.
not given, and Koso's at the back post. Looks in that direction and Koso makes it 3-0 to Olympia Warriors. A bursting run from Warren Wadawu, and this place is rocking.
Beautiful finish. He just bought the space in the box, and Koso waited and waited. He was still free when the ball came in.
Teddy Kadisha is not happy with the linesman there, and we'll just have another look at that one. But to me, he looked... maybe just...
No, keep going.
Very, very tough one, that, actually. It's very, very tight, you've got to say, but... yeah, still having a bit of an argument there with the linesman, Teddy Kadisha.
Oh, I thought that was
I think we'll give him
live.
the benefit of the doubt there, but beautiful cross there and a beautiful run from Nkoso to get out to that fast stick, and just perhaps questions got to be asked there of Harrison, who has let his man go there. But we have 3-3, and once again we have a game, boys.
Yeah, done very well. That put the game back at even and ruined your tip, Morgan. So that's a very, very good goal there from Nkoso. Now let's see what they can do again. Bellini just hits it behind the recent goal scorer. And he's hit that one backwards to Castaneda. Van der May just hoofs that one, asking Bellini to chase it down, which he does obligingly. Puts Harrison under a little bit of pressure. Gets absolutely walloped into the gardening area out there in the far corner of Warrior
To the
Park.
advertising board, thank you very much, Paul. We've got a few sponsors over there that deserve their recognition after putting their hard-earned money into Tasmanian football.
Pity with the camera angle they don't get to see
Yeah,
on the
that's true.
TV screen. So it's
Big shout out to PFD. Fed my cat for years. Good on you.
yeah, I'll let you reread all that in our ad break we're going to have soon. As
Lucky we're not Triple M as we see Bellini get on the ball. He combines with Nkoso. They're in a bit of space. Unfortunate cross there, though, from Bellini on his left. Just chipping up and over the top when he had the man arriving at that far post. But, geez, boys, we've got a game.
yeah,
Need to play. 3-3 the score. We've been saying all week this is going to be a cracker, and it is delivering on the hype. That's for sure. Now, who can stick it out and win this one? I think there's more goals to come. I've not got a lot of faith in either of these defences, to be perfectly honest, but it's been entertaining end-to-end football. Just when one team looks to be getting on top, it tends to do a bit of a 180, so should be in for a cracking final 20 minutes.
It's certainly not that the quality of the defending has been poor, but just that both of these teams have such attacking mindsets that we're really seeing two offensive philosophies come together, and it's just been great to watch. Fantastic for football when two teams really want to get stuck in, get involved, and they're here to score. They're hungry for goals, both of them. So we see Bellini and Samet combine. They've been playing football together for a number of years. Gets his head up, starts running at James. Support provided from Ladich. He goes around both of them. Brilliant work there. Not the final ball, unfortunately. Brown and Ladich combine again, potentially just running out of play here, though.
Just having a good little spell here at the moment, the Warriors, asking the questions. It brought about their equaliser. Now they're looking for that go-ahead goal, and Bellini's added something since he's come on. They're playing with some good verbal, like Kurdistan robs Ortman of the ball, and now Nick Naden is away here for the Knights. Going for the killer ball early, just needed to carry it a little bit. They had runners streaming forwards in support there. Wrong decision from the youngster.
Yeah, need to let the rest of his teammates catch up there for the Knights, as that one's into the night sky towards Harrison. Now the business knocks that one to Castaneda. Been very impressed with those two in the 6 and 8 roles here tonight. Kiwundi battling away with Bellini, the magic man. A lovely bit of touch there from Kupch, but given away. Undy looking for Nkoso down the wing, not going there. Plays a nice 1-2. He's got Bellini inside, looking for the 1-2 again. Harrison tries to volley that one. Touchdown Castaneda at the D. He's got Wadawu just offside is Bellini. Wadawu tries to bend it in the corner. Couldn't quite curve that one around enough, could the postman. And send that to number 12, not number 14.
It's certainly a difficult chance there for Wadawu, but as we have a look at the replay of this one, we can see that Bellini's just strolled offside a little bit when he could have been that option just for the pass here. But beautiful dribbling display there from Castaneda as well.
And doing it at both ends of the park. Whitey Castaneda, it's been a good showing from him. It's just his second game as a Warrior, and doing it nicely. And they might be in here behind again. Charging in behind was Kiwundi, just held up a little. Now it's Bellini for goal. Straight at Nesta. Save. In the end, just needed to go either side of the veteran keeper there.
Somebody had been sprinting in on the follow right there. There could have been a bit of worry for Dimitri Nesta because he spilled it a metre or two in front of himself there. It was a little bit worrying from the 30-something, but Olympia once again in control. Bellini just straight offside a little bit once again. They look to go out wide with Nkoso, who take a bit of a cruel touch there, unfortunately, from the king of the Andals. So we see the Kiwundi getting on the ball, but Kurdistan, who's certainly starting to come into the game a little bit more, working back. Naden moving up the side, goes a shot, come cross, I think there, we'll call it, but nothing doing as Brett Johnson just gathers.
I reckon it was a shot there from Naden. Almost turned into a decent assist as the Warriors back the other way. This game really opening up at the moment, and it's been the Knights just struggling to play the ball out for the last few minutes. They've been turning the ball over on halfway, and because they push so many bodies forward, when you get caught in transition, you find yourself open at the back. We've seen that a few too many times as the interchange bench getting a workout, and it looks like one of the Foley boys coming on here. And Bellini will be replaced by Foley. And geez, the headgear just hiding a very loud salad there, Paul Hunt.
Oh, I'm very disappointed at that. Obviously, he's got some pretty good reasons for wearing that headgear, but hopefully we can get a little shot of that wonderful salad hidden underneath there from Foley.
I reckon he'll be ripping off that helmet as soon as this game's over to let that glorious mane flow. But looking forward to seeing Hugh Foley get on the ball, because he was a real feature of their Lakoseljac Cup run last year, him and his brother Declan, who I think unfortunately did an ACL last season. But the ball's just in a dangerous spot, and maybe a foul there, you've got to say, on Tommy Bellini, who just chipped the ball over the top and had Nesta clatter into him. So questionable decision there maybe from the referee, but yeah, I might have another look at that one in a second, I think.
Yeah, once the play goes out, I'd love to have a look at that. As the ball's now down the line, aiming for Brown, getting a bit stuck there, and eventually Knights win the throw-in. James does well, and Naden does well.
Because he got nothing of the ball there, Nesta, so I certainly struggle to see how that isn't a foul on the edge of the box and maybe a cheese for the keep.
There's Kupch. Takes the throw in, nothing going there. Now Ladic will look to take it off Bellini. Bellini shoulders in well. Foley comes barging in, as he does with his style there, giving it the sword immediately. Now Ladic with a lovely through ball to Brown. Johnson comes out. That is brave goalkeeping from the American Brett Johnson. He stayed down after that one, and he gets back up to his feet. That's very, very brave goalkeeping.
You could hear the applause rattle around the ground there. That is brave, brave, brave goalkeeping. We've seen horrible things happen from incidents like that in the past, but very well done, Brett Johnson. Hopefully he's going to be all right to continue on here, looking just a little bit dazed maybe.
Well, the way Callum Brown's been playing, he may well have saved a goal there too. We'll have another look at this one.
It goes down as a save.
The other end of the park, but that's twice tonight that Johnson has come flying off of his line. As the concussion test just being given here to the American key, who twice tonight he slid out at the feet and saved really good chances. He's been sharp off his line all evening. So we have another look at the one that you're talking about here, Jake Morgan, and
No,
I think maybe the
not.
Olympia player jumping into him, so I can understand why they've just allowed that
Fair.
one to go.
There wasn't too much forward momentum there from Nesta. Certainly not like what we saw last week in the MPL with Rangers and Zebras. With one of the biggest clatterings I've seen this side of the infamous Schumacher one from the '82 World Cup.
Yeah, Carl Douglas in net for the Zebras going kung fu fighting there. It was, jeez, a vicious challenge that one. Certainly not the same ballpark as Altman. Gets sandwiched between a couple. It's Foley and Kurdistan. Kurdistan jinking back inside and then spreads it across. He's got a teammate in space. It's Nick Naden. He'll want to get onto that left foot. He drifts into the box with some wonderful skill and then slipped as he hit it. And it's saved with the skill to get round the man. Breathtaking stuff from Nick
There was
Naden.
almost some anti-grav boots going on there from Nick Naden, because he just seemed to skate over the turf without touching a blade of grass before, just not being able to get quite the power that he wanted. Brilliant work from Nick Naden. Lovely dribbling and prowess.
So we're inside the final 15 minutes of regulation. 3-3 the score, away
It
by
was
Kadisha.
Onside there, Foley, so the other Hugh Undy, because we see Hugh Foley get onto the ball. So good defending there from Kadisha or his partner in Harrison. As we see Bellini get onto the ball, he combines with Samet. Goes up, gets the ball to Wadawa, who plays a lovely one to Undy, gets it out again to Samet and just tries to cross it straight into the broad chest of Kadisha, and it looks as though it'll be a throw to the Warriors in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, right down by the Rabbit Olympia Warriors fans in the wet area there. The throw-in taken to Wadawu, looks inside, gets that one off Kadisha, gets the ball back, goes again to the back post. A late sliding challenge on Kupch by Undy, who was coming in there, and Koso keeps it in with the skill.
Geez, Harrison's just having a couple of looks at Undy there. Probably caught him a little bit two-footed there in the attempt to get a shot on target. But intelligent play we see there from the business, who's played that holding role incredibly well for me today. I'm really impressed with that young man. As we see it get out to another one of these young players that the Olympia Warriors have been breaking through so well in the last few years. And lovely piece of footwork from Undy, but Wadawu, who could have looked back to Undy, sees the ball turned over to Brown and Kurdistan, and he gets running at the races, but imposing challenge there from Holmes after the foul was probably given away by, I think, Stevens.
Yeah, I think that's for the slide challenge on Stephen there. Holmes really just held his ground, slides in, does sort of clip him. Holmes, he didn't move a muscle there.
Oh, I meant good block there from Holmes when his central defensive partner had overcommitted a little bit, you have to say. And just a bit of a cheese there, I think, going to Harrison or Foley for descent there.
No.
No?
Wasn't it a whistle up
That's
to
the
retake the
whistle.
free
You've,
kick?
you've been done in by the
you've
yellow
done
whistle.
by the
Done in by the
lights.
light there.
Oh. Geez, I would have loved just some dissent to come into this game too. Would have given it everything.
Callum Brown is caught down in that charging run there. Looking lively. Can he be the match winner? You wouldn't bet against him the way he's been tearing off any time he's got the ball at his feet in this half. There's been one thing on his mind. Here is Bellini. Works it into the middle for Ortman. Made him stretch and he's coughed it up to Naden. Naden now gets his head up. Slides it across to Kurdistan. This is the chance. What a block. Coming across there. Big Alex Holmes. Did superbly the big Cutler and he saves the day at the back.
They're absolutely saving the day there. Kurdistan getting one of the first touches he's had this second half, especially in such a position like that. Got it onto his preferred right foot, and that big outstretched leg of the Cuddler does exceptionally well there as Olympia to build on this near side, but goes out for a throw. So Knights get another chance as we tick with 10 minutes to go. Down on the wing, it's good pressure in the end there from Castaneda. And he thinks he's won a throw. I think you'll find he probably hasn't, as Brown looks to actually one free kick there from Castaneda. Maybe a bit of body on body down there. We just missed that down on the near side.
Always hard to see down in that pretty much our blind spot, you'd have to call it. But yeah, free kick to James, and this is a dangerous spot for the Glenorchy Knights to potentially take the lead. Certainly got a little bit of dead ball ability, the captain of the Knights.
Very profound technician is Samuel James. What can he conjure up here? He swings it towards the back post over the head of a rising Tyler Harrison. And behind for a goal kick inside the final 10 minutes of regulation. By the way it's going, you might have another 30 minutes more to come.
I'll be expecting a pay rise, I reckon, calling, if you're going to make me stick around for at least another half an hour. But
I'll offer you 5,000%.
beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff.
We
do it for the love of the game, and there's no doubt about it. I'd love to see some extra time here and truly get a sense of the magic of the cup, because being neutral coming into this game, it has certainly delivered for the neutral.
I'm not sure what other plans you got at 8 o'clock on Easter Monday, Morgan. I certainly don't, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be, is Nathan. So go that one inside, tries to find Kurdistan, but well cut out. And James looking for Brown. Given there with Dawu with a clever back fleet, Kadisha will let that one run. Probably should go back to the keeper and sells him a bit short, and then they go the risky one too. That always puts a heart in my mouth. Foley gets it back again off James. He'll now look for Brown, and he's probably overhit that a fair bit. And by a fair bit, I mean by about 40 yards.
Yeah, it just looks like it took a bit of an unfortunate bounce for him, I'll say, right before he hit that one. But
They're known for their divots, these artificial pitches.
Yeah, perhaps just catching out on the ankle bone, I reckon, there. So he took a big swing out at Foley, but Johnson with the goal kick chips it up, and Foley will come together with Castaneda. Foley wins that battle. Once again, wins the aerial header. Ladic takes the ball down quite well before Wadawu probably fouls him, I think.
First cheese coming up, I think, here from
And there it
Wadawu.
is, the dose of dairy. It comes out, and I'm not too sure why he's given it. It could be potentially because it's his 4th or 5th foul, I think, that Wadawu's pulled, but it also could have been just for the tug back that was stopped a dangerous attack. I don't really know, but must have had something to say.
Accumulation, I reckon. He's had a few. He's been in the thick of it, as Warren Wadawu always is. He's a no-nonsense customer down the wing, that's for sure. He gets stuck in. And that's why we enjoy the postman's work. He is always going to give you 100%, whether he's got the ball or he's chasing the ball. As Harrison, they've butchered this one. They might be made to pay us. Bellini was almost sprung in behind. Some lovely work from Brown coming across in defence. I'm not sure why the advantage has been played there. John Ladic, I think, was primed to use it.
I think Ladic and I both gesticulated in the same manner after that one. Could have potentially played that one. A bit of the Italian palm coming out. But we'll see it next time.
I preferred your hand wavy there rather than your accent. Look, see, that
was an accident.
As that's gone down the line there. And it's gone into our blind spot, but a throw-in given to Knights, much to the jeering of the Knights fans out at the wet area. They're really getting into this one. Free kick given down there.
Certainly shown out in force, haven't they? And it's just about, you'd have to say that it's a tear that's devoted there to the Knights fans. They really come out to support their team, and they're looking forward to attempting to get some revenge here. James, once again, from a wide position, curls it into the box. And it was Kurdistan arriving, but comfortably taken there from Johnson.
Well done there from the keeper, Johnston. Now a long ball from Stevens, right to the head of Kadisha. Touch from Brown. Harrison still coming back. Vandermeer sticks a leg out. Remove the threat of that through ball. Now it's the business. Got Bellini down one side, threads it through, but Nesta comfortably comes across for that one. Out to James. No rest in this game. They're keeping up a pretty relentless pace as John Ladic turns away from his fellow number 5 rather well. Now Harrison, both his wing options storming forward, one of which is Corpshoes. Probably the most advanced he's been all game. Vandermeer will look to shepherd that one out. They both end up on the ground. Ball still in. No, Cooch laid on there, but eventually given as a goal kick or foul.
Yeah, just a little bit of a foul there, although potentially one of those situations again where it's 6 on one, half a dozen of the other, but it'll be paid a free kick for Johnson to take, and just a lob it long up this near side. All goes really interesting attempted header there from Ladic, a bit of a pirouette, quite graceful in some other sports, but a little bit agricultural, we'd say, from Ladic there.
Probably a bit more suited to the rhythmic gymnastics than a footballing header, but did the business anyway, and now Vandermeer looks to take the throw in. And essentially a bit of miscommunication between the defenders, but unfortunately given the other way. We'll pick the ball up for a foul. Immediately out to James. He's just got Brown in front of him. A little bit of a misflick from Declan trying to look for Callum. Eventually back to the Cuddler. Now inside to Whitey Castaneda. Stevens back to Johnston. Knights did very well there to put him on the back foot. Bellini going up against Harrison. A little bit of a difference there in height. Radic controls that one well. Calls for handball but not given. Back out wide to Callum Brown, who's got Samet for company and pretty much just pushes him by the shoulder down to the ground. One of the more obvious free kicks we've had this evening.
Yeah, certainly the big frame of Brown just grabbing a hold of Samet there and rightfully given the free kick. So we see Stevens perhaps a little bit risky with that pass, with Kurdistan bearing down on him, but and just to get away with it, as we see this man who's been quite good up until that moment. That was a little bit worrying there from Alex Holmes, but fortunately for him it took a touch that will make it a throw in and not just a turnover that allowed Kurdistan to slip through and be away on goal.
Declan Brown hovering around there, making a nuisance of himself. Bellini couldn't get there, stooping to make the header was Cooch, and they retreat back to Dimi Nesta. They build from the back now through Teddy Kadisha. Now Foley, who's added a little bit since coming on, but just a bit too much pepper on that pass for Harrison. He goes back, collects, and switches it to Kadisha as we tick towards the completion of the 90 minutes. We're still locked at 3 here at Warrior Park. Both teams would love a late winner, but we're looking like extra time could be the go here. Throw down the line. Now a chance for Foley. Brought it down suspiciously with an arm, I thought there. Kurdistan couldn't control Ladic's pass, and now back the other way is Castaneda, who's been so impressive, and he's sprung long Joffrey Nkoso down the wing here. He's running at Kadisha, coming back in supports Kurdistan. Bit of a push there on Nkoso. Stayed on his feet, and I do wonder how he hit the deck.
I love the reaction of the crowd for that one, as both Knights players went sliding in, giving the cheers out there, and I think that's going to be a corner kick. And
it's one for giving the sword, Fundy, I have to say. They did give a bit of a sword there, but I just think that was superior strength from Teddy Kadisha on Nkoso there, just muscling him out of the play and using that bit of a stronger body there to just push him out and prevent him junking in.
Gibbs, the corner swung into the middle of the box, away by the headgear of Foley. Callum Brown up against Wadawu, worked it well. Nkoso, now perhaps Knights can break here. It's the speedy Callum Brown. They're bursting down the other way. Leads all comers, plays it to Kurdistan, returns it to Callum Brown. Callum Brown in on goal, tries to go around the keeper, and the keeper stands up. Red Johnson saves out the Warriors.
You've got to concentrate on scoring the goal first rather than trying to win the penalty. Johnston comes out very speedily. Lovely 1-2 with Kurdistan, which I think we were all gesticulating wildly to get. That
was little Bo Peep from the Glenorchy Knights. There was through the Kurds and away, and they're away up the other end here. Is that Vandermeer jinks in. Falls to Wadawu. Wadawu to win it. Slices it horribly wide, boys. Slices it horribly wide.
Yeah, another 8-iron from the outside there from the postman again, just misdirecting that one.
What a save from Johnson at the other end.
He's had about 4 chances to hit that as Callum Brown goes out wide, and Johnston stands his ground well.
Wow. Brilliant, courageous goalkeeping. It's twice after he's copped a whack that he's been willing to get down there. Take a bout at Brett Johnson. You were a bit worried with your feet last time, but I've seen the display of a brilliant goalkeeper today as Castaneda gets it outside to Wadawu. Can they win it here, the Olympia Warriors? Picks out Nkoso, but well defended there from Harrison.
Yeah, wonderful done there from Tyler Harrison, sticking the leg out there, and the counter-attack is on. It's Nick Naden against Holmes, the 2 number 3s. The long legs of the Cuddler manages to get that kept in. No, lets it run out for the throw.
That was end-to-end stuff. This is the magic of the Cup, boys. The adrenaline's burst through in me now as we see Naden trying to get in, but Ortman once again so defensively well positioned. Have another look at this one, the slice wide, and that misses by a little bit more than you think, I think, from there. Warren Wadawu's shot, slicing a fair way wide, but we're going to see Undy attempt to combine now with Bellini out on that far side. Ball goes through. Just whacked away by the Warriors there when in doubt. We see now Brown on the ball. He's probably been the player of the match so far. He combines with his brother. He's got his other brother overlapping and just couldn't find Kurdistan.
Kurdistan just missing that touch there, and Koso and Harrison battling away as they have done most of the evening. Harrison now looking for options. Surely a shirt pull on Harrison there. Mark the business Ortman avoiding a yellow card there, just getting a chat. So that one out wide immediately to Cooch, who's going to play that one down the line to Naden, sizing up this one up for a cross. Now we'll look to take Vandermeer on, but nothing getting past the great Olympia wall of Jake Vandermeer. Again, quick throw in, taken to Cooch and eventually belted into the night sky.
And it looks
Not
like
too
it's
far from the camera
It's
either.
Knights coming here at the end, boys. It's the Olympia Warriors who have just started to sit back over this last minute. The Knights are coming in an attempt to give the sword here at the end.
It's been end-to-end pulsating football these last 15 minutes. It wouldn't surprise if either team won this match. It's just going to come down to who can take the chance. It's the Knights on the offensive at the moment, nodding it forward. This should be dealt with by Holmes. He's going to hope he can just escort it out of play, and eventually
He was offside,
he just
actually.
shields it. And flying in was Foley.
Foley was well
So
offside.
we have
there
another
too.
look at this big moment from the keeper, Brett Johnson, at 3-3, dying minutes. And
Brilliant.
there it is, all
He got the
ball.
ball.
That is superb keeping. He punched the ball away
Brave
from the
keeping.
feet, and Brown, I think, just needed to pull the trigger rather than trying to go around him. But the American maybe just getting in his head, and he's been fantastic tonight. One of the best players for the Warriors, who now look to go on and win it. They've swung it out wide, and they've got some numbers forward here. Gliding forwards is the Salad Bellini. He's got Undy peeling to the back post. Instead, he went short to Nkoso. He had a heavy touch at a poor moment, and now it might be Knights. But the final whistle is blown for the 90, and we're headed for 30 more, gentlemen.
I'm excited. I want 30 more of this game, frankly, boys. We've been hearing some complaints about a producer over there. He's clearly had a big Easter, but I'm excited for some more football to keep coming here. Extra time, 3-3, Warriors Knights, the magic of the cup, boys.
Oh, Big Kev has got absolutely nothing on how excited I am for this extra time. The Lakoseljac Cup final rematch from last year.
And the salads come out. If we could just get a shot of the salad here. The beautiful salad is flowing there from Foley.
Oh,
That
yes.
is a rude lid.
That is an absolutely rude one there, and will potentially feature heavily sometime soon in the near future on the Slice of Cheese blog. But for right now, that's all about this match here. Absolutely great round of 16 Lakoseljac Cup match here. Olympia and Glenorchy. Just casting my mind, what any potential substitutions either team could make. There's a fair few players out there who haven't played a full 90 in a little while. Alex Holmes has only played one or two. Probably the same for John O'Ladich at well. He might have last year, but at a potentially lower level, so that could be an interesting thing. And Kurdistan's come into the game the last 5 minutes. I
I
didn't
draw
see
your
him too
attention
much.
for a moment too. The ball from Samet playing out on this right-hand side, cutting in onto his left foot as an inverted fullback and playing a beautiful ball into the middle. So potentially some tactical genius there. lads.
I can't wait for the third edition of Jonathan Wilson's Inverting the Pyramid, starring Jake Morgan, to come alive here. We're seeing everything in the Lakoseljac Cup here, and both teams getting together in their huddles. And what are you expecting from this extra time, Jake, while we're on inverted fullbacks?
4-2 win to the Knights. I'm backing myself in.
Now, he's left himself the out here. If it goes to penalties, you can bet he'll be saying, no, I meant in penalties. So,
That's what I said.
yes, of course, he's already played that card. But, look,
Thanks
I
for the
don't know
ammunition,
who's-
buddy.
I don't know who's going to win this one. It's just been end-to-end. Both teams are creating chances. It's just going to be who can take one, and then can they hold on, because half an hour is plenty of time. We've been averaging a goal every 15 minutes in this one, so maybe we'll be 4-4 at the end of regulation. But boy, has this game delivered on everything we hoped it would be. After a day of cup blowouts, we have got the epic we wanted, gentlemen.
I would take 7 games of what we've had so far today for this absolute corker we get to watch here on Easter Monday evening. I hope everyone's tucked in nice and warm. The wind's died down outside. Hopefully, pardon me, not another sandstorm will erupt during extra time. There's everyone getting prepared. So all 30 minutes here, and then penalties if necessary. So a lot to play for here. We saw Knights last year winning in dramatic fashion over Devonport. So can they do that again? Well, the Warriors a more easier run to the cup last year, and let's see what they can do in this match here as all the players slowly make their way back onto the field. No obvious substitutions at hand, other than seeing Hugh Foley without his headgear on, and That is the peroxide blonde is that salad. He's unfortunately put it back on. Referee having a bit of a committee meeting now.
Knights seem to have a few captains.
Yeah, they've got American football style. It's one from each side of the bowl.
You got your midfield captain, your forward captain, your defensive captain, your captain's captain. But I would have thought that James and Vandermeer would be the two to square off here as we're ready for an added 30 minutes, and there's plenty of feeling in this game.
Wonder if there's any confident boasting out there about we're going to have the ball that we're going to score. Yeah, I wonder if there's any of that sort of thing going on out there.
We'll wait and see as we're just about in readiness for the first 15 minutes of added time here at Warrior Park. Round of 16 of the Lakoseljac Cup. A rematch of the final. We're locked at 3 after 90 minutes. Twice Glenorchy Knights fought back from Warriors goals and then went on to take the lead themselves, only for the Warriors to then peg them back and make it 3-3. It's been a seesawing contest. It's had it all, and we've got 30 more minutes headed your way here from Warrior Park. Glenorchy Knights with a long throw down the line. Foley to substitute the target. He chips it over the top. Bit of a task for Statewide Kurdistan. He won't even bother as the American escorts that one over the line. But as you mentioned, Funty, the one penalty shootout last year for the Knights. So they got past Devonport. Dimmy Nesta, very much the hero in that one.
Yeah, memories of him being mobbed by the Glenorchy fans there, and a lot of those exact same fans are here tonight as Foley gets his head onto that one. Stevens launches that one to the night sky. Foley goes up again. Eventually gets it back to John O'Ladich, holding fort in the centre defensive midfield role there. It's good pushing off the ball there by Olympia. I think that's a pretty obvious foul by Joel Samet, everyone's favourite inverted fullback.
Samuel James standing over the dead ball again. I don't think they'll be too keen to knock this one to the teeth of the Warriors goal, given the height they've got back there. It was probably a better option what they went with, though, in the end, as the Warriors lead out on the counter through the business. Altman chips it into the path of the postman. Here's Warren Wadawu running at Tyler Harrison and firing a shot which is repelled by Harrison, who then speeds off up against Ortman and puts it out of play. Good defence from the Knights centre-back.
Yeah, it stood up well, did Tyler Harrison. Didn't go to ground too easy and which got the whole of his body in front of that ball. There wasn't really too many places Wadawu could put that, as we see Samet riding forward to take the throw in a very attacking position. Gets it down to Bellini. The salad of Olympia. Can't quite get there, and that's pretty close to our camera just there, so that's nearly had no extra time to bring you there.
Oh, we wouldn't have stopped. We might have lost the images, Funty, but we would have kept me home, don't you worry about that.
Audio only.
Absolutely. Bring back the Spreaker days, perhaps. Real throwback. A slice of cheese there as the throw in is well read by Tyler Harrison, but again, just out of play for a Knights throw, for a Warriors throw in, sorry. They're probing in the opening moments of added time here. The throw to the feet of Undy. He can't control that as it rolls out of play. Foley to defer the throw into James. Take this one down the line. Throw straight to Joel Samet. The aerial ping pong's played. Now it's on in the middle, but well read back there by the business Altman. Stevens stepping in ahead of Kurdistan, just smashing that one well away.
We have a retro round calling. Let's bring back the Spreaker.
Not opposed to it.
That would imply we'd have that really tacky themed rounds here in Tasmania. We're well above that in our footballing fraternity.
Really
It could
like
only
this.
really be done if Slice of Cheese went for the back post, though, really.
Yeah,
if we
true,
could have a real
true.
retro.
Absolutely.
We just head back to the game for a minute. Really liking this from Naden on the other side here, boys, because getting into a really wide and high place. Bit of the Pep Guardiola school there, trying to stretch the defence. But Knights getting onto the ball here quite well as Ladich turns through a couple, plays a nice pass out the other side to James before he gets it to Kurdistan. And it's on here. Brown running into space, but just takes a heavy touch and comfortably done there from Stevens. I do think it's, you've got to say, it's been the right decision from Hitchens to play Samet out on that side to try and track the pace of Brown, because he's been the most threatening player here today. So despite the fact I was a bit surprised about the inverted fullbacks, it's probably the right decision to go with, I think.
Yeah, as I said at the time, it was surely a tactical move to go toe-to-toe with Brown. He's so quick. And Samet just going to stick with him there. There's a throw in, or corner in fact will go the way of the Knights, so here's a chance for them to swing something in. Samuel James once again to take the centre halves marauding forward. They take it short. James jinks inside but shows enough of it to Undy for him to clear. The end-to-end probing continuing here.
Jeez, he had that much leg spin on the ball. It was just about the gatting ball there from Hugh Undy with the clearance. Didn't mind it.
Ah, well, we did discuss before someone clearly tampered with this ball, and that's why there's not an extra goal to Olympia Warriors, so the spin doesn't surprise me.
Enough of that story. As we head back to the game where Dawu just belts it out of play, really, and go for the corner, in fact, I think. He's just asking a few questions, a bit of a discussion ongoing here between a few of the Olympia players and the referee, but yeah, it's what I thought from the first look. It is a corner to the Glenorchy Knights. Just getting 5 minutes into the first period of extra time here in the Lakoseljac Cup of this magic game. James to deliver, chip up and under to the far post. Kadisha and Vandermeer coming together. Unsurprisingly, the big figure of Vandermeer wins it before Brown gets it over to Kurdistan. He turns, holds up quite well. Ball gets whacked away by Holmes. And there is nobody just about in that part of the pitch except for the man Nesta and a central defender.
Yeah, Stimmy does very well cleaning up there as well. Kadisha under a significant amount of pressure. Nesta looks to play that one out wide. It's Kupchin, just a tad too high for his teammates. So out for a throw-in inside Olympia's attacking half. Back to the business Ortman. Look to try and get his foot on the ball a bit more, but only finds his opposite number 5, Ladich. Does well to roll out of that one and then receive the pass back. Very good steadying influence in the middle of the park is John O'Ladich. Now Knights look to play the diagonal. Naden step on Vandermeer for the moment. He's got the 1v1, checks inside, leg left out, and nothing called from Josh McInerney. There's roars and howls from the bench. The Knights fans are absolutely giving it to the referee at this stage.
This looks like Bodyline at Adelaide. They're about to jump the fence here, the Knights fans. They are furious with that decision. And I'll have to say, the Arsene Wenger cop-out, I'll need another look. Castaneda gets the ball into a box, but just clipped away there by the defender in Harrison. And it's exciting stuff here at Warrior Park, you've got to say, boys.
It absolutely is. I was very, very impressed with the Knights' restraint there, not stepping onto the grass. They just managed to contain all their rage into the drainage system over there. They were furious at that decision, or no decision from the referee. Even had the linesman on this side as well. As we go back to live play, and Wadawu's on the far side with James. Looks inside. Closer just beaten out to that one. And as far as the business Ortman. He's going to chip that one out wide to Vandermeer. Now back to Nkoso. He's got Hugh Foley for company. Back to Hugh Undy. Tyler Harrison with an imposing challenge on that one, and well played out for a Knights throw.
Certainly seeing
finally got the ball
given
out, so we might be able to have a look at this penalty at last. I'll tell you what, I thought looked stonewall from my angle, but I don't know why it wasn't a yellow card for a dive if it wasn't a penalty. I would have thought it had to be one or the other anyway. When it goes out for long enough, we'll finally get a look at Vandermeer. It wasn't a goal, that's all that matters. It remains 3-3 in added time of the Laka Cup round of 16. Now John O'Ladich, not really the man you want leading the counter-attack, so he just turns and then switches the play. Beautiful. The experience of Ladich there, just making sound decisions with the ball. James with a switching pass up the other end. Nick Naden, will he be denied this time? He tries a little nutmeg.
Oh,
but
he does.
There's no one there. In the end, still the ball staying in play.
Just looking for Kurdistan to make the run into that space, I think, but he didn't quite keep going. It was a pretty decent touch and some good dribbling there from Nick Naden in a dangerous spot, but yeah, he just had a bit of a nutmeg there on Stevens too.
Yeah, it's always a bit hard to find Kurdistan on the map, and Naden couldn't quite pick him out there either.
Oh,
that one's
top shelf
from Wadawu. It's truly out for a throw-in, or at least a push out of bounds. Sportsman thing and help him up.
Far better than my obscure little Bo Peep attempting to work in Kurdistan and away. Well done, Paul.
You missed me the other week when I was calling him the unrecognised territory. That was getting even more obscure
as we go back to the game, I think we're going to see Samet trundle over there on that side.
2 balls on the pitch at the moment.
Yeah, just a little bit of a chat between the referee and James before the referee directs Samet to get on with this throw up this side. He's got But Bellini is a short option, but goes to Castaneda. Takes a lovely first touch and rides the challenge fairly well, which that man Kurdistan had just poorly given away a foul there when he probably didn't need to on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Last, we get a look at Nick Naden on Vandermeer here as he jinks inside. The tangling leg pulled away. Well, that's a yellow card for a dive, isn't it?
That's surely a yellow. That's surely a cheese for that one.
Yeah, it's a great decision from Glenorchy, so well done, young referee.
Glenorchy, congratulations. Marvellous decision in such a crucial stage of this game. That, to me, is the equivalent of a player scoring a goal. Well done, referee.
Well, he fooled me, Nick Naden. I thought penalty watching it live, but
bit Bremner-like.
Did not fool the man that mattered.
Bit Bremner-like last year at
not quite as spectacular.
South Hobart, but yeah, certainly a bit of a dive there. You got a guess from Nick Naden. It'll be interesting to chat maybe later. So we see Wadawu, the postman, airmail comes in, cleared away by Harrison, only falls to Undy, he flicks it up and over the top. Got company there, but just manages to get it to the far post. Vandermeer misjudges, but the postman again has put it just about onto the highway, I reckon, and you can hear the Bronx cheers coming from the night section right there.
That has gone absolutely nowhere but the A3 highway outside that enormous fence. He has absolutely cloppered that one out of the ground as Wadawu.
Don't mind that there from the producer. The postman got the wrong address. Got to give him the credit there. Ash, his comedy tour begins soon. Yeah,
Melbourne International Comedy Roadshow is starting, so our producer will be departing soon, I think, with great material like that. Is Esther trying to direct traffic. A few players stretching out in the middle of the park as we have a sub, and Aaron Azamani has been brought on, number 21. Quite seen who's been taken off yet. You would expect him to take up a wing position.
Yeah, good coming together there between Ortman and Brown, and Ortman wins it and plays a beautiful ball to Undy. Nearly finishes. Great save, Nesta. Geez, dangerous stuff here from the Warriors. The postman on the ball again. Looks for Nkoso around the other side. Good coming together between him and Ladic. Great defensive awareness there from the Croatian Glenorchy player. Ball just stumped out the side there. And they're going to recycle backwards. Great pressure here from the Glenorchy Knights.
Times the Warriors have had shots that just fired it straight down the throat of Dimmy Nesta. Don't want to block it away, but just been a bit off with their shooting tonight, the Warriors. Jono Ladic works it to Alan Brown, who lost his footing.
A couple of times you almost think they're trying to spoon feed the baby with the aeroplane here today, the Warriors, but despite that, it's just been a pulsating affair, hasn't it, boys? It's still being end-to-end football, even this close, or even this long into the first period of extra time. Good body feint there from Hugh Foley, and they're on the march here again, the Knights. Brown to Brown, but well cut out by Samet, showing lovely pace to get there and cover.
Yeah, Brown brothers have been thoroughly impressed with them tonight, as we see Wadawu on the far side. Got James whips the ball in, but no one home for the Warriors. Now falls to Nkoso just outside the box, but wraps his foot around it and puts it high and wide of the goal.
And I don't mind that from the King of the Andals, just trying to go himself there, because he didn't really have any options around him, and an attempted curler would have been quite the spectacular winner here potentially for the Warriors.
He's got a really quick release on his shot.
Yeah, doesn't he?
So just takes a touch to see himself, and then bang, he's got it off towards goal so quickly, and that is a very useful tool that he has got in Koso. Really standing out in his game as Alex Holmes wins a commanding header. He's always going to attack that. Castaneda, did he handle it? No, but play allowed to continue. Paul Stevens launching the long diagonal. That one just sits up in the breeze a little for the postman. He waits, and then Sammy James coming across gets a foot in. 2 minutes left in the first half. We've had a time. The long throw looking for Bellini. He brings it down a little faint to the shoulder, one way then the other. And it's Callum Brown who puts it out of play. The Warriors now pressing for the go-ahead goal.
Certainly is. My best guess that Surya Kurdistan is the player that's come off for Aramani, as that one launches to the back post, and that man will look to clear. Got Vandermeer for company in the back, nothing given. Oh, it is now on Vandermeer, so pressure relieved on the Glenorchy Knights. Harrison looking to take this one quickly, not looking to slow the pace down at all.
Right, it
Naden got
is Kurdistan off and Aaron Marnie on, so a lively injection of pace on the wing, and as you said, Jake, Nick Naden will play the centre forward role. We've seen him play on occasions, but Pacey Marnie might just fancy himself running at some tired Olympia legs.
Yeah, it does nullify that tactical move of Dale Itchins of putting the pacier Samet on the pacier Callum Brown. If you have two pacey wingers, we don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, there will always going to be a factor, pace, tiredness at this stage of the game. But just look as though they're sticking with the current lineup for the moment. Olympia. Brown getting into a dangerous spot. He takes on Stevens, getting it onto the right foot. Good cover there from Nkoso to help his centre-back colleague out there. Well, actually, rather, he's not a centre-back at all, is he? Well done helping out his teammate there from Joffrey Nkoso, because he had to be alert to it.
He did, and now it's Foley who plays it there. The cross in should be dealt with by Samet. It is well away by the youngster. It's only as far as Declan Brown. Having to wait for it with James. Then Callum Brown. Now Declan Brown running at the defence. He takes it outside, and in the end, he just probably need to pass that one to James, I think.
Yes, I think James, in that absolute acre of space on the far side there, was potentially the better option, as falls harmlessly to Johnson, who rolls it out again. Trying to look for the striker. Oh, it's a lovely ball, offside given Warren Wadawu, and nodding in agreement, despite the fact we are about 70 yards away.
Samuel James has just given the linesman there a big round of applause for his decision, which utterly bailed him out, I have to say, because I think he was going to get skinned by the pace of Wadawu out there. So
body shape was hardly ideal there from Samuel James, so I'd be thanking the referee too as he launches that one again to absolutely nobody in particular.
Is that his brother?
Yeah, I think so. It must be down that side, but he has strategically done the kick for touch technique of rugby union.
I think there's only going to be about potentially 10 seconds left here, because we just crept into an extra minute of injury time, and yep, that will be all she wrote for the first half of the extra time, boys, and the conversation is going to have to come up. Our producer said it to me, I think, at about the 60th minute, but penalties could be on here, boys.
Yeah, looking more and more likely, although the chances are still flowing, and I really love the way both teams have attacked the first 15 minutes there. Both teams really pushing for the goal. They do want to win. So often you get to this stage of a game, teams go into their shells. They don't want to make the mistakes that's going to lose them the game. That's not been the case here tonight. They are both going for it. And personally, I'd prefer to see it ended in regulation than penalties. So let someone make themselves the match winner.
It'll be interesting and good to see.
Certainly makes writing your little post game a bit easier, doesn't it? Not having to go through the penalties and make it all about the big winner.
Yeah, it would certainly.
I think that's more. I think that's more the newspaper writer next to his deadline that's more worried about penalty shootouts, rather than Cooling can wait for that block till tomorrow.
Alrighty, as we look to get things started once again, it's Nick Naden in the middle, looking to get things going in the final period of extra time. Can the Warriors win through on this one, or will the Knights give the sword? Ladic attempts to just tee it up out the far side, but well closed down very quickly there from, I think, Hugh Undy or Tommy Bellini, one of the two, but very good intent there from the beginning from the Warriors.
Yeah, not even really time for a drink break there as both teams swapped ends. Very how it's actually meant to be, not the customary 2 to 3 minutes where they have a drink you see sometimes. Holmes in a foot race manages to beat off Naden. It's back to the keeper, Summit not quite wide enough. Stevens just getting that in the nick of time. Now the business Ortman well cut out from Foley, but the
I nearly gave you the Rex Hunt then, Paul.
As Samet gets caught in a brown sandwich. Nick Naden on his right foot. He's got Marnie out one side, Brown in the centre. Probably should play it back to Foley. In the end, he gets absolutely crunched, but manages to win the free kick. Yeah. Calls to get up from Olympia defenders. It'd be interesting to see that one.
Let's have a look. He's pulling him back a little.
Probably more the shirt pull rather than the tackle, you'd say.
Yeah, probably the correct decision, though. He did get the ball there, so you can understand what they're complaining about, but just a little shirt tug in the lead up to that. But oh, doesn't he look hungry, Brown?
Oh, Callum Brown.
Tell you what, 106th minute, there's also some Shermanator who would enjoy this position as well.
Oh, boys, make the sub.
Where is the big general? Well, they might not need him when they've got Callum Brown out there. He's been a star today. Step up here. Brown driving this one, and it's a safe pair of hands from the keeper. No such troubles for Brett Johnson, who's been very sharp in between the sticks. Is a lot just gone out that far corner, or am I imagining things? Anyway, long ball will go straight through to Dimmy Nesta. Just seemed like it got a lot darker down that far end of the ground all of a sudden.
Potentially another sandstorm coming through from the car park again as Ladic puts that one forward. Oops. Checks the hair flick and goes back to the keeper. So Samuel James. Now Nesta wants to go to the far side towards Marnie. Unfortunately, miscommunication with
we
Cook.
want the old Waverley treatment at this stage of the game, would we, boys? This is a pulsating affair, and we see Hugh Undy trying to get on the ball there, but just out-muscled by a couple of Knights' bodies there. We've got a foot race here. It's absolutely on. Coops! Is it Coops? No, the new substitution. There's just won a corner there for the Knights up against Paul Stevens, or rather, no, he's
not.
Lost the goal kick.
That's the injection of pace that Aaron Marnie offers. He caught him by surprise here. Stevens across in coverage and just played it off him. And that was a very tired-looking challenge from Stevens. If he didn't get that ball away from him, he was in big trouble.
It's Edel coming on, I think, too, with the substitution here. Well, Bellini, I think, who was only subbed on in about the 70th minute.
The ultimate indignity.
Jesus.
Taking no prisoners, Dazzler.
Yeah.
He's taking Bellini off for Edel.
The Dazzler is showing no mercy towards young Tommy Bellini. I'm just trying to cast my mind back who got pulled early last year at South Hobart for Olympia after about 30 minutes. Just trying to think if that was Bellini or not. It was certainly one of the younger players. It might have been Tommy Little, but certainly something we've seen semi-regularly.
As was flagged by Andrew before when I was mentioning the first time I'd seen Edel play was actually as a striker. He is a bit more of a central midfield type, so just could be looking to offer a little bit more of a defensive presence here is Dazzler Itchens for the Warriors, but yeah, certainly an interesting decision, that one, but not afraid to make the big calls.
I think they just have to convey that to the referees. I think they're in a bit of shock here over that decision.
Something's going on. Not sure what the hold-up is here at the moment. Colin Robbins, the Warriors team management, deep conversation with the referees. So, not sure what the go is at the moment.
Very cordial chat, but
eventually Edel is allowed to stride onto the pitch and we're underway. So
there was just a little bit of a chat going on there. How you going, etc.
How was your race?
Yep.
Good time to have a catch up at the 109th minute.
Yeah, of course, of a pulsating affair.
It's really taking the sting out of things, hasn't it?
They just try to make us all catch some breath here for a second, I think, the officials, but it's a lob back into play. The header is coming up there from Kupch. He surrenders it to the new substitute potentially, but they're all getting involved. There's a thick of bodies there before Foley attempts to play it out to the run of the substitute Marnie, but it just peters out of play there before the throw is taken by Jaggy Vandermeer.
I'm told there was no number 10 on the team sheet, just Zach Eagle's name, which was causing the problem. So just getting that sorted out. Thank you, Linda Higginson of Solstice Digital, not only providing wonderful pictures of the game, but a bit of pitch-side analysis too.
Well, if that is, they certainly haven't got the copy of the team sheet I've got where it says Zach Edel number 10.
Yeah.
So you've stolen the proper team sheet, and that's what's caused this delay, Funty, is what I'm understanding.
The ball attempted in behind there, well covered from Harrison. In danger there with Kiwundi making a run into space. The Knights defence only get it as far as Holmes, who's been pretty imperious at the back despite conceding 3 goals rather.
Cross-checking through our team sheet, certainly number 10 Zach Edel, so not sure, maybe it's just the numbers have blown, the ink's blown off the paper that the referee's got or something down there. I'm not quite sure, as we see Hugh Foley battling away as he does. Not quite keep that one in. The sting out of that attack taken off was Ladic. Posed with the pass. And Kupch, who does very well down there. Foley, now Marnie. Still going to stay in. Foley with a very illegal throw-in.
And it's let go.
Illegal throw-ins I've ever seen.
And it's let go.
That's Kupch. It's pretty much nutmeg there from Vandermeer, who wants to go wallop. Now Kupch again gets the ball back. And it's play on as Foley. Sting taken out of this one, but Kupch has still got it in.
They got in the centre.
They appear to be going in slow motion. Now it's Foley again, a crunching challenge into the middle. Dodgy head back, and then it's eventually going to go out there for a corner. I'd love to have a look at that throw-in again. That was absolutely spectacular. As the wish has been granted from the producer, Hugh Foley, with that, look at that back foot, and it is a mile in the air.
I don't mind it, Funny.
None of this pedantry.
Well, free kick in a very good position now for Glenorchy Knights. 111 minutes have ticked by. Samuel James standing over the ball as Jake Morgan pines for the General Sherman to be introduced here. Don't think the big general's going to insert himself into this contest, but with penalties looming, he's a man I'd want taking one, and certainly with a free kick. The worst time.
This could be him right now.
Instead,
Samuel James.
Sammy James as he steps up and he kills it over the wall. It was a dipping effort into the side netting. Wasn't a bad hit from James, but not good enough.
Yeah, beautiful curl on this one, and just really only about a metre or two away. Certainly looked to have had it covered there though, Brett Johnson, the American import for the Warriors. But yeah, not a bad attempted free kick there from Samuel James, but perhaps not as good as what the Sherman could have offered. But they'll get it going again here, the Knights, and Foley attempts to play a ball out to Brown, who's first time I've started to see him look a little bit tired as Paul Stevens outpaces him. Gets it back to Johnson, and they just heave it away, but only as far again as James and soon Brown before it's just hoofed away by the substitute in Edel.
Yeah, Edel has hoofed that one into the night skies. We've got 7 to 8 minutes left until we see penalties. Let's see if one of these teams can win in extra time. Throw down the line looking for Naden, but nothing given on that one. So Foley hits the ball out and they'll have another chance through Samuel James. Good to see most of the crowd yet to leave here as well.
Why would you with a game like this in promise? We're getting to the pointy end now.
I would just say that bedtime goes out the window when you have a football match that is this entertaining. There is no doubt about that. There are no bedtimes when you've got 7 minutes left of the magic of the cup. Potentially penalties too.
So Samet with the throw in. Picked off by Ladich. Daru chips it forward straight to Tyler Harrison, who takes a little while to bring it under his spell, and then he whacks it over the top. Looking for the substitute Marnie, scrapping away there with Van der Meij's Marnie. He's got quick feet, Aaron Marnie, and he wins a corner for his side.
Done well
really
there.
Good body work against the far bigger body there in Van der Meij too, to just kind of block him away and shield the ball really well there from the substitute Marnie. So did well to earn his team a corner, and could it be a pivotal moment? They take it short, goes to Brown. Brown, oh, just jinking inside here, potentially a foul there. It was a bit of a coming together, and he's called it, has he?
He's called it. He's pointed straight to the spot, and the Knights are going to have a chance to win it. Oh, what a big decision that is. We'll have a look at the replay.
I was watching that on the TV and not sure that was a foul, but he gets a toe to it, and that's a coming together. He's kind of won the ball.
He got a foot on that, I think.
Let's roll that one again, I think. we're going to have to rewind that one.
Oh, this is the magic of the
Get
cup,
a bit
boys.
of rock and roll on that one, producer, because I think we're going to have to see that a few times.
Controversy laid on here. We don't know whether or not it was a penalty. Certainly did look to be a bit of contact, but could there have just been a bit of a touch there from Ortman in the attempted tackle?
I reckon the arm going out's brought him undone there, Ortman. It didn't look good in the slow-mo, but geez, that is a tough decision.
And who is it here to take it? It's Brown. Of course it's Brown. There's just a few discussions going on here between the linesman and the referee there, just asking potentially if something else should occur, perhaps a yellow too, but it's going to be Brown. Can he win the game here for the Glenorchy Knights very late on? No, it is a slice. The slice of cheese comes out to Edel just there. Could either be for a bit of dissent, I think, there that's been picked up by the linesman.
Well, he hasn't been on long enough to do much else, so it's got to be that.
And nerves, a hush has descended over the ground here at Warrior Park. It's the referee just taking his time, build the pressure a little bit more.
He's really building up this penalty. I mean, if he's going to leave the bloke there for about a minute and a half before kick is to come.
And so we have Brown to take for the Glenorchy Knights. Can they pull off revenge for last year's Lakoseljac Cup defeat? It's Brown, and it's saved! Johnson with the incredible save late on!
Oh, justice penalty save in mind. I'm not sure it was there. It doesn't matter. The American's been huge tonight, and now he stops a penalty, if you don't mind.
Oh,
and he might have a few more to stop in 5 minutes' time.
I can't believe it. It was a bit of a tame penalty from Brown, but isn't that a man who is pumped up? What a save there at a crucial moment of the game.
And the big American, he gets down. Brown driving it low. He didn't make the sweetest of contact, but that is a fantastic save. Just too central from Brown. And it remains 3-3.
Taking a couple of little awkward bounces too before it got to him there, Brett Johnson, the American, and he has earned his coin today.
And he's made some big stops, and that was huge as this one swung dangerously into the middle, away by Holmes. Smash clear, and there's only one back for the Knights. It's Coops who takes it and spreads it wide, looking for James. It's the Knights on the attack late in this game, pushing for the winner. They've got the throw in here through Samuel James. He goes over the top looking for Declan Brown. Declan Brown hits it first time, away by Van der May. Steering it away from a lurking Callum Brown at the back post.
He was ready and waiting, Callum Brown, for that one. Cooks will now go up to take the throw in. 2.5 minutes left in this match. Into Marnie's feet. He's immediately surrounded by 4 Warriors players. Gets a bit of a pinball.
Well done, Jakey Van der May. Just as Alex Holmes is sucked out to the ball there, see the left back immediately slot inside, make a tackle, knock the ball away. Beautiful work there from Jakey Van der May. You can see why he's a leader in this team.
Captain coming up strong just when you need him, and Holmes winning the height advantage there over Brown.
Great touch there from Nick Naden potentially, and just a little bit of a foul maybe given the Knights' way, judging by the direction the players are all moving, and Foley having a bit of a complaint about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, asking for the advantage there is the headgear of Foley.
I have to say it's been a pretty good game from the referee too. Just after we have a look at that penalty decision a couple of times, as the ball is heaved in, Wadawu back doing his shift defensively, lobs it over the top to Hugh Undy. It's Undy versus Kadisha. Can he take a good touch inside? His defensive positioning is good, but Undy jinks through. Well covered there by Cooks, just getting in and help. And he goes himself!
And it's ended up behind the goal there from Hugh Undy. Did very well to hold it up, tried to get it through.
Bit of Andros Townsend there.
Bought himself the space nicely, but the shot, liking the quality. We've got a minute of regulation left, but I think there's going to have to be a couple of added minutes given the stoppage there for the penalty and the sorting out of the substitution. So I'd expect this to go 123, 124. So time left for either of these teams to score the latest of winners.
For controversy.
Well, let's just get out ahead of the controversy before the post-game complaints, and we can go, there's going to be a few minutes. Because you know whoever concedes is going to be salty as all hell.
Yep. No, you're absolutely correct there. There should probably be about 3 or 4 minutes of added time, because there was at least a minute and a half there with the sub, and a couple of comings together too, as we see Van der May starting to work as a midfielder. He's left out of position now as Ladic loses the ball for a second in his vision, but manages to get it back to Kadisha. He looks out wide to Marnie, and a bit of coming together between him and Samet. And is that a free kick? No, throw correctly paid there the Glenorchy Knights' way.
Yeah, correct decision there from the referee. Throw in to be taken, or possibly a foul given. They still haven't picked the ball up.
That was definitely a free, boys. I don't know
Definitely
why
a
that
free
was a
kick.
free, though. Two people challenging for the ball, but he's blown it, and James curls it. It's a dangerous looking ball towards Declan Brown. Tried to bring it down, and Samet clears the area now, and Koso leading out in the race to the ball up against the equally pacey Callum Brown. He jinks back the other side of him, but shielded it well to Brown, then got dragged down by him, Koso. Good decision there.
Just
Mr. Saltman buggering off with the ball. Was to be a pest.
Well, you've got to do that at this stage of the game, as we see Knights get onto the ball here. Brown with a slaloming run. He's got onto his left. Well covered by Van der May. Opts to go out wide. Marnie with the cross. Nobody at home. Ladic arriving late. He's going to have to cross it. He gets it back into the box, but Van der May again at that near post. Well done, Van der May. Good touch here from Kupch. Jinks inside. Leaves it for Foley. Probably shouldn't have. And it's a turnover, boys. Whacked up through to the Warriors. And is he in?
He's in.
Hugh Undy is in. He's charging towards the goal. Can he win it for the Warriors? He gets past Kadisha. Can Hugh Undy do it?
Oh, Nesta, what a save off the inside of the left leg. Dimitri Nesta, the cup hero for Knights last year.
Dimitri Nesta,
strong in the 122nd minute. What a save from
What
Dimitri
a dribbling
Nesta.
display from Hugh Undy. So unfortunate to not get the winner here, but the keeper quickly off his line, and just a bit of ice hockey there. Offers him the hole and then shuts it.
The 5-hole, he closed it shut at the right time. Got just enough of it, Timmy Nesta. The Warriors with the corner, goes near post. Undy with the header wide of the mark. It's twice he's nearly won it in the 122nd minute.
It's not quite enough on that cross for him there, though. Just dipping in a little bit too close to the corner flag from the near post, but incredible finish here we got. Incredible finish from the Warriors, incredible finish from the Knights. And he's called it.
He has, so we've not got the added 3 minutes we expected, and we will head to penalties for these two sides to book their place in the quarterfinal. It's been an epic. It's been everything we have wanted. 3-3, a penalty save in added time, and now we head back to the spot to resolve this one.
You know, it just almost reminded me of Champions League 2012 a little bit here, this game. With a bit of an Arjen Robben display from Callum Brown, who's just taken them apart, but then the penalty miss in the final 15. It's going to be interesting to see if he's courageous enough to step up again and take a penalty here, because I certainly would not have the gumption to have taken either of them.
It's certainly a certain type of player that thrives in this situation, and we'll see who comes up strong. Knights with a bit more recent experience in such a high-pressure situation. Olympia have certainly got plenty of experienced players.
The Knights always put on a show for me.
Yeah,
they genuinely always put on a show for me.
And it's just for you. It's for no one else. That's all they give the sword to is for you, Jake Morgan. They're absolutely well known for that. As both teams having a discussion and trying to figure out their 5 penalty takers. It's really not even, in other terms, it's usually whoever's a striker. You generally associate with them with putting in the back of the net, but in this sort of high-pressure situation, it's generally anyone who's up for taking it.
It's a mental battle as much as anything, and of course luck. I mean, a keeper's going to guess one way. If you happen to go that way, you're out of luck unless you hit it perfectly. So certainly there is going to be an element of that.
I'll be hoping that they're taking it at the car park end rather than the A3 end of Warrior Park, because it'd be great for all of the fans to get a fantastic view of this, but it could be a bit of psychological gamesmanship in the team that gets to pick the ends.
Well, it's interesting because if you look at the Knights fans, they've flocked to this end, so they might even outnumber the home support down here at the moment. So
they're in there wet, they've invaded.
Maybe the home team go, yep, we'll go down the far end here.
It could be an interesting decision.
I mean,
it could be the one they go with.
It'd be the quietest penalty shootout if they go to the far end.
If we have a look,
no one out there.
I think they're starting to face to the positive end of the ground. And can it be Brett Johnson to be the hero for the Olympia Warriors? And wouldn't he make a wonderful start to his Warriors career if he can do it for them, boys?
It's been huge tonight for him, and now the biggest test yet. It's Johnson v Nesta, who won it for the Knights in a shootout last year. They've been in some dramatic cup games.
Are we going to see somebody run off their line potentially? Any retaken penalties like we've seen in the drama of the cup before?
Well, I reckon Nesta was off his line for about 3 of them last year, and he didn't get called for any of them, so definitely something to be watching out for.
This will be one to watch out for McEnany, the referee. He's had a really solid game, but I'm still not sure about whether or not it was a penalty with the Ortman challenge on, I think, Brown early on, but it's going to be the captain for the Olympia Warriors who steps up here and has the courage to attempt to win it for his team. And if we just have a look at this crowd that is building behind the goals here, this is utterly beautiful.
I thought that was a fact.
They are flocking from all areas of the ground, and we pretty much have standing room tier going on back here. Wonderful to see in the magic of the cup.
I thought that was a factor last year in Knights' game where they crowded everyone in the wet area out at KGV and put a few players off. Let's see if they do the same to the captain for Olympia, Jake Vandermeer, leading by example in going first.
Here he is, the captain for the Warriors with the first of the spot kicks. He steps up and drives it home. A beautiful penalty from the captain, 1-0 Olympia.
That was the definition of calm, wasn't it, Andrew Calling? He just took a few slow steps up, watched the keeper hard, saw a bit of a twitch of a muscle to the right and drove it to his left. Well done, Jakey Vandermeer.
Yeah, done very well there, as we'll see. John O'Ladich, the returning star to Glenorchy Knights. He's had in a fair few big games in his time, represented Tasmania and won some pretty prestigious medals down the year, but it's his first high pressure situation in a while, so we'll see what he does here as he's trying to put the ball on the spot accurately.
Wind causing a few problems for the experienced Knights midfielder. He steps up and Johnson denies him. Sprawling save, 1-0 Knights. The American is making a name for himself tonight. Brett Johnson.
Yeah, a name Olympia fans will not be forgetting anytime soon if he keeps that up. That is his second great penalty save in the last 10 minutes. That one denying Ladich. It was down low. It was not terribly, not at a great height. He really had to get down Johnston. He's done very well there, the American keeper. As we see Warren Wadawu stepping up for Olympia.
Postman.
Let's see what kind of mail he can deliver here. Wouldn't want anything.
And you can hear the
Too
Knights
wild.
fans, can't you, getting stuck in behind the goal, but you know these Warriors players know this is their home turf. Wadawu, can he make it two? Oh, and a hand to it from Nesta, but just not strong enough to tip it away. Could that be the chance that he's let slip?
Slipped through his fingers indeed. It was pretty firmly struck, but he did get a couple of hands to it there, Dimmy Nesta. As Declan Brown is going to step up for the Knights now. That sibling, his brother, scoring a couple, and then crucially.
Must-score penalty, you have to say. Even so early in this shootout, it is a must-score penalty.
Can't go down 2-0. Declan Brown steps up and drives it low into the bottom corner. Johnson guessed right, but he beat him with precision.
That's almost a carbon copy of Ladic's penalty, but just slightly more in the corner, slightly more pace, and that's what it was.
How good does Johnson
beat
look
Johnson.
on the penalty save?
He's got the full extension going. He's covering the corners. That one just a perfectly hit penalty, and it had to be.
There are those keepers who are very well suited to penalty shootouts, and Brett Johnson seems to be Olympia's great wide hope in that regard. Stepping up now for Olympia is Vladi Castaneda. Looks to go to the right end, does successfully. Nesta went the exact same way. Got a good height for the keeper, but Castaneda now celebrating with the young fans of Olympia Warriors.
And he's looking a tad frustrated out there, Nesta. Potentially just two penalties that he could have fancied himself to save, at least one of them. So 3-1 so far in the shootout. The Olympia Warriors looking comfortable. And it's going to be that man Brown who missed in extra time, who has got the courage to step up and take a second. And I've got to say, I love that from the young man.
Takes a fair bit of gumption to do that from Callum Brown. Up with the left foot and completely wrong foot. Brett Johnson there for the 3-2, so he makes amends for his miss in extra time. Well done there from Callum Brown.
And it is the substitute Edel who came on for Thomas Bellini, who was introduced in around the 70th minute, I think, but substituted off for the last period of extra time. So can Edel slot this one? Just Mick and Ernie saying there's got to be a bit of a ball blowing around there. Make sure she's still before you have your shot, but the weather adding to the pressure here for Edel and the Warriors.
So it's Edel against Nesta. Steps up for the Warriors and he curls it bottom corner. Beautifully struck penalty that. It reeked of confidence. And the Warriors are looking good in this shootout now.
And all it is they need is a save from Teddy Kadisha, who's got the courage to step up here for the Glenorchy Knights, or just to slot their next one. They are looking good here, the Warriors. Could it be heartbreak again for the Glenorchy Knights?
He's looking that way. Teddy Kadisha. A real free hit here for the Warriors keeper in net. He can just sit back.
Put in a pretty good shift, you've got to say, at centre back today, despite being under considerable pressure. Kadisha! Top corner, calm as a cucumber, as Rocket Andrews would say. Beautiful stuff there from Kadisha. And it is Paul Stevens, the man who scored one of the most spectacular own goals that I have ever seen today, stepping up and saying, can I win it for my team?
Great way to make amends, Paul Stevens.
Nesta here is just going to walk up, put that on the spot for him, have a bit of a chat. The tension grows, boys.
Yeah, he's got a few words to say, doesn't he, Dimmy Nesta? I'm liking this.
And a couple more.
Oh, I tell you what, it's worth getting the yellow card here in this situation for the extra mind games.
Just do the step up and boot it away, I reckon. Oh, big fan of that.
Big fan of that.
Anyway, here we go. Paul Stevens to step up and send the Olympia Warriors through to the quarterfinals. He does just that. An ice cold finish.
On the celebration.
The Warriors are through. It was another epic between these teams, but it's the Olympia FC Warriors who win the penalty shootout 5-3, and they bump the Knights from the Lakoseljac Cup in an absolute classic.
Absolute classic there as everyone mobs Paul Stevens. An absolute redemption story of the highest order there. Coolly done.
There is one man who we must give man of the match to, and it is the man who came up when things mattered, the American keeper, Brett Johnson. Two crucial saves that we've seen. A save in the penalty in extra time and a save in the shootout that has won the game for his team. Brady Johnson, take a bow. Welcome to Tasmania.
He's made his mark, the big American keeper, that's for sure. He's the hero as the Warriors win an absolute thriller. We were hoping for it, and boy did it deliver. The magic of the cup on full display here as the Warriors, the defending champions, who survive an almighty scare. It's going to loom as an evening as missed opportunities for the Knights, who couldn't quite get across the line. But I think,
What a game.
you know, you can make a case for either of these teams winning. It was a fantastic affair. Both teams attacked, they both went for it, and neither really deserved to lose at the end of the day. But it is the Warriors who progress through to the quarterfinals.
That's just the magic of football, isn't it, boys? Oh, I absolutely love that game, but Brady Johnson, when it mattered. And you've got to say, there are a few really big decisions that Dazzler Hitchens made in that game too at a couple of points, particularly inverting Samet and Vandermeer. No, it worked. Is the thing that it worked, and the Browns' influence really went out of the game after a while there when he had Samet's pace trapping back to him. So good work, Dazzler Hitchens, and good work, the Warriors.
Yeah, done very well there. Has the Bobby Dazzler for Olympia, picking up an enormous win to start his coaching reign. I do feel a fair bit of sympathy for the Knights. They really played quite well, especially with Ladich holding the fort, both of the Browns. I thought they did an exceptional job, but unfortunately someone has to win in cup football, and tonight that is Olympia.
It is indeed. We will leave you with the goal highlights from a classic evening here at Warrior Park. The Olympia FC Warriors 5-3 on penalties after a 3-3 draw in regulation from the Slice of Cheese team. That's a wrap for a magical evening of football.